is your leader, right? Like, he is unquestionably the person that sets the tone in that room. And to me, with the injury, the hand injury, the wrist injury that he's got, I don't want him tossing knuckles. I don't want him doing that.
Well, he didn't land any, really.
Still, it's, again, I just don't get it. Why he would do that and, again, put himself in harm's way unnecessarily, right? I get it. You're going to try to ramp up your team or whatever the case may be, but what if you lose him for the series on that opening face-off, which is absolutely inconsequential to the remainder of the series?
Do we remember who we're talking about?
Yes.
It's Tkachuk.
True.
He doesn't care.
True.
But yeah, I don't even think... Did the Hurricanes even have a shot on net for the first period? Well, no, they had one for sure in the first period, but it took a while.
It did.
It was like 12 minutes.
But again, I went out on the limb. What do you think of the fight right off the bat?
You know what? I like it.
Yeah.
It's not for the players. It's for the fans. It's to take advantage of that home ice advantage, get people fired up, get the crowd into it right from the get-go. You're the first game on the schedule for the Stanley Cup playoffs. I kind of like it.
Okay.
I thought it was a wise decision. Now, from a coaching perspective, no, but from a fan, have at her.
The risk worth the reward? That's all you got to tell us.
It's fair.
And I don't know what that answer is.
Well, if people have opinions, Prairie Land Rentals text line, you can hit us up at any point, 306-936-6262. Join in the conversation at any point here. Okay, let's move along. Vegas. Oh, the Golden Knights win. I'm excited to see what happens when Nick Dowd and Logan Cooley see each other in the next game.
Explain.
Okay, so there was at one point, there was some blood shed, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Nick Dowd who looked at Cooley, because that's what resulted in the leakage, if you will. And he basically, I can't say verbatim what he told him on the ice, but it was basically, I'm coming for you.
I think cooler heads will prevail.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well,
I know that you've got a long memory, but
well, game 2 is only tomorrow night. So it's coming up quick here. Best of 7 series, they fly by.
John Tortorella knows how to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah. I mean, Vegas has been on a bit of a tear since they brought him in late in the season.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to work, but yeah, I don't know. I think that one's going to be a feisty series, and I like what I'm seeing in the Mammoth. They're a fun team.
Yeah, I just don't think they'll get by Vegas.
I don't think they will either, but it's going to make for a fun series. I don't know if it goes that deep, but I like it. Also, I like the fact that the Mammoth's owner was just walking around, backwards hat, shaking people's hands outside of the arena before the game. But some people are also calling that unprofessional.
Oh, come on.
Grow up.
Come on. Come on.
That's just my take. I think it's kind of cool. You're a new team. Well, not necessarily a new team, but it's a new franchise. Get out there. Get involved.
I can't tell you how excited I am that you haven't mentioned the team that's in Alberta that starts their playoffs tonight. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, we're getting to that.
Oh, fair enough. I'll butt out.
Why? Are you going to make any predictions on that one?
No, I'm not. Like I would love to tell you how many goals there will be allowed because neither team plays defense tremendously well. But what's going to happen?
It's going to be a gong show, and it's going to be great.
It's going to be it's either going to be like the most lockdown hockey that is like watching paint dry, or it's going to be like a lacrosse game when there's 28 goals scored. Like, it's just... And with Leon Draisaitl, maybe or maybe not, I'm very curious if he's added back in because the Oilers got on a little bit of a roll late, right? He wasn't in the lineup. And I go back to his statement, right, where he called out the entire organization before the Olympic break.
I don't think it's going to hurt them having Dry back.
No, but he does bring a different dynamic, right?
That's true.
And if you call out a teammate, you better back it up. And we'll see whether he does or not.
Well, we'll see what happens tonight, because from the last I read, it looks like he is going to be dressing. He's been practicing.
He is a game-time decision as of about 12 minutes ago.
Okay, see? Real-time news.
Yeah, I had a guy that was tweeting watching the parking lot. So it was... I'm like, that's a solid source right there.
What a job.
That's what we've come down to, yeah. Sitting outside watching the parking lot
Sitting
and
in
seeing
car.
if he goes to get his regular whatever pregame meal it is.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
What a life to live. Juraj Slafkovsky in that Montreal Canadiens series. You got to give him a shout out here. I mean, scored 3 times, all on the power play. Got a hattie, 122 into overtime, lifting the Canadiens 4-3. That was a hard-fought game against Tampa. I think this is going to be a fun series.
You know what? I'm not too proud to say I made a mistake. And I really made a mistake back when the Habs hired Martin St. Louis. I really made a huge one. And I think that the timeout that he called early in overtime to rest up his power play unit was sensational. Resulted in a goal. It's not always going to happen that way. Yeah. But boy, does he know what buttons to press on guys and to get the most out of them and to get them believing. If only he could make a save, then the team would be even that much better. But
Dave...
No, they had their goaltending woes this year. But again, I truly believe that Martin St. Louis, you know what?
Good old Marty.
He does not get the credit that he should. And last night I thought was a masterclass in coaching in the playoffs.
Well, still a couple Canadian teams to be keeping an eye on, as you mentioned earlier, Dave. Of course, the Oilers get at her tonight, so I think a lot of people are going to be glued to their TVs watching that one tonight as they get the series underway with the Ducks. I think we probably need to take a break pretty quick here because we do have our next guest standing by. So lots of other things to get to. More hockey. I do also want to quickly mention here, we are giving away a backyard putting green courtesy of Classic Landscaping. So you should probably text in the keyword. That's all you need to do to enter. If you text every single day, your odds only get better. So 306-936-6262. Today's keyword, par. As in par for the course. P-A-R.
Something I do not achieve near frequent enough.
So text in that word, par. 306-936-6262. One text a day will get you one entry per day for a chance to win this customized putting green courtesy of Classic Landscaping Company. Prairie Land Rentals text line, by the way, Prairie Land Rentals, from small power tools to skid steers. They probably have what you need. Hopefully no more snow throwers, but you can deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. It's the Monday edition of the Sports Cage, brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. Coming up next, Dan Clark, 2026 Plaza of Honor inductee, will be joining us. This is the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brandt Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but spring is just around the corner. They're thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
If you've been putting up with cold showers and hard water that makes everything feel like more work, stop waiting. Reliance Heat makes it easy. Rent a water heater and a water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400. That means hot water when you need it and water that just works better. No big upfront cost, no hassles. Visit waterheaterrentals.com to get the offer.
Call on Reliance.
Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Don't miss a minute of Sports Cage. Podcasts are posted at sportscage.com. 620 CKRM.
Appreciate you taking time. Welcome back to the show, Sports Cage. Mondays are for Smoke'em Diesel. If you're a fix-it-yourself type of person, Smoke'em Diesel can supply you with injectors, injection pumps, turbos, all diesel hard parts. Genuine OEM replacement diesel parts. They do not sell junk. Join in the conversation at any point on the Prairie Land Rentals text line 306-936-6262. Right now, we got to jump out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Now, you may have heard the news earlier, but the 2026 Plaza of Honor inductees were announced earlier today. Now, after playing more than a decade on the offensive line for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, helping the team win the 101st Grey Cup. He will officially be inducted during a halftime ceremony later this season, joining a select group who are recognized for major contributions to the franchise. The one, the only Dan Clark is joining us on the line right now. Congratulations, Dan.
Thank you very much, you guys. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Appreciate you taking the time here. It's got to be a whirlwind of a day for you, Dan. What's going through your mind right now?
Just a proud Saskatchewan kid. Kind of looked at all the inductees over the years and thought maybe one day that I'd have the honor to be able to sit up there with them. I'll be honest, it's just surreal. It's something that you never expect coming from Tom Collegiate, the RMF, and just hopefully lay down the grounds for the future Saskatchewan Roughrider kids from Saskatchewan.
Okay, you officially are a man ahead of the times because my son has got himself a Dan Clark jersey. Do you know why?
No, I don't know why.
6'7". 6'7".
My God.
Oh, yeah. 6'7".
Come
That's
on, Dan.
huge. Yeah, you set me up for that. You set me up for that. It was funny. I went and did a school visit at Riffle, and I walked into the school, and as I hear the kids in the back, I'm like 6'7". So I stopped the presentation. I was like, all right, before I do anything else, I just want to let you guys know that we will do this once and once only. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, all right, on the count of 3, we're going to go 6'7". So yeah, definitely. I wish I was Fry right now and then would be able to enjoy the old 6'7" memes and stuff like that, because I would have taken advantage of that for sure.
Well, you lead right into my next question because, obviously this is a time for celebration. And for folks that are watching our stream, you are such a proud dad and you give back to so much youth in our community. But your kids didn't get a chance to see Dad play much. But what do they think of this opportunity that Dad's got to go into the Plaza of Honor?
My daughter is totally excited. She's very happy. I don't think she knows the extent of it. And then my son Cash, love him to death, but there's not much that phases him. He's just happy to go along for the ride. And where are we going? What are we doing? We get to go to a game? I'm like, yeah, we'll be able to go to a game, bud. So I think it'll be more realization. We spent some time with the Best family last year as they were able to go through their journey and be able to be inducted as a family. So they kind of have a little bit of an idea, but probably it'll be more realistic as we're at the dinner and getting to see Dad on stage, although I'm going to cry like a baby when I speak about them and my wife Kayla.
So when you look at who's in that Plaza of Honor, it's a very, very impressive list, and your name is now going to be enshrined with them forever. Offensive linemen don't always get the spotlight, but they truly are the backbone of a team. So what does this honor mean for the offensive line group that, battled with you week in and week out?
Yeah, I always, I try to not just represent myself. I represent the guys that are around me, the guys that allowed me to get better, the guys pushed me. You look at the young groups that were around me to be able to make sure that I stayed young throughout my career. And you know what? It's just an honor. And I wouldn't have been able to do it alone. We have so many people around me that have supported me, not only from teammates in that locker room, but a family, friends the entire journey through high school. Going to junior football and not even knowing that I would have an opportunity to play in the CFL. The group is everything. The people that we've been a part of, all the losses. Man, I went 8-28 in 2 years. The stresses of being come back from injury, I wouldn't be able to do it without the teammates around me. So I'm very grateful to have a supporting cast that I've been able to call brothers.
Now, what about the fans? Rider Nation is known for being very, very, very passionate. How did that fuel your success?
At a young age, I knew what it meant to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider. And I'm not talking about, being a player. I'm talking about supporting the team. I remember telethons of even keeping this team afloat. I remember the sacrifices people would do just to be able to go see games. I remember the countless, this is our year, and then the disappointment. I knew what it meant to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider player before I even stepped onto that field and donned the S. And now hopefully I left a little bit of a presence that, the next group of kids that want to dream big and just chase the opportunity to be a Saskatchewan Roughrider, they can do that. All it is continuing through, believing in yourself and putting that hard work in. And just hopefully that I represented not only the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but the people of Saskatchewan in a great way.
Dan, when you were kind enough to share some time earlier today with members of the media, you talked about as a 19-year-old kid, eyes wide open, walking out onto the field and living a dream. And one of the notes that I kind of wrote down was that maybe at that point you didn't fully believe in yourself, but your dad definitely did. What did your dad see in you, and how did he instill that belief in you that you could accomplish a professional career, which only 1% of people can do?
Well, I'll be honest, it was either succeed at football or go on the rigs or join on the fuel co-op station. So I kind of needed to make sure that I did it properly. Believing in myself, you know what? I think that's, if you ask my family around me, I'm definitely a negative person. I put out that I'm a positive person and anything can be possible, but there's a lot of doubt that crept into my mind, and the people around me to be able to keep me afloat in those situations and allow me the success that I've had. I would be lost without them. You look at the very first year of football that I ever played, I didn't know if the sport was for me, but I could tell you what, I was bigger than everybody else, and I used my strength as my advantage, and then it grew into a passion and a love. And one day my dad said to me, "What do you want to do for the rest of your life?" And I said, "I want to be a professional athlete." And I look back over those 14 years to be able to represent the S, and there's a lot of hard journeys throughout that course of time that, definitely solidified who I am today, and I would be lost without them. My support from not only my dad, but my mom were constant. My family throughout the years, meeting my wife and their family and their love and constant understanding that, football comes first. It's been something that, it's been a family affair with me that I've always tried to put them first, but understanding football does a lot of that.
You mentioned Chris Best, and I had the opportunity to talk to him last year prior to his induction, and I said, for an offensive lineman, it's tough, right? You can't say, I had this many blocks or this many pancakes or, to define a career best game. But was there one that stands out? Obviously, the Grey Cup would be up there, but, he talked about, they were even pointing me out on the TSN telecast, how me and my buddy, we were going ahead and we were demolishing everybody. Is the same for you?
Yeah. I think one game that really stands out would have been my 100th game in BC. It felt like everything was clicking. I was with a young group in 2019, Dakota Shepley, Darius Bledek, who else? Thad Coleman, and Taryn Vaughn at the time. And we were a young group that, had a lot to prove, but it felt like everything was going perfectly well. Like downfield, making blocks, making big open field blocks or pancakes. And I think that's the one thing about being an offensive lineman that gets left out is, what are you doing before that whistle happens? Are you near the ball? Are you making sure that your teammates feel protected at all times? I know Bagger's got a good story where I took out a ref because a defensive player was pushing him. But I think that's, again, the thing about O-linemen is, we don't have a lot of stats, but you know what? Our career is defined on one bad play. I think that's where fans need to understand that. We give up one sack, and that player gets a sack every game. They're the greatest defensive player in the CFL for that year. If we give up a sack every single game, you might as well send us to be able to start packing groceries at Safeway.
So as we head into the CFL draft next week, a week from tomorrow, Dan, I'm curious, if you were to be face-to-face with a young offensive lineman waiting for their name to be called, what message would you want to convey?
There's going to be challenges. There's going to be times where you don't think you belong. There's going to be times where you even question yourself if you have that. If you can make it through it, you can. All those times when you sit back and you think, can I do it? You definitely can. It's going to take hard work and dedication, but what are you willing to sacrifice to make those goals happen? If I could spend time, again, with that 19-year-old kid, I would say never stop believing in yourself. Never stop. When a coach asks you to do something, always be there. Always be that person to go above and beyond when they need you. And just know that, just trust the process.
There's some things in life you can't fake. And I would suggest that camaraderie is one. You could feel the love that you and Rob Bagg had for one another in a Zoom call. You could feel that. What does it mean being a member of the Saskatchewan Roughriders alumni and having that commonality thread between and the genuine care, and I guess care is the right word, for one another that you have?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at all the other sports that you can play in your life. You go into a locker room full of people from different religions, different backgrounds, different family statuses, obviously different places of the world, but they come together for one goal, and that goal is to win a championship. I don't care as of January 1st, after the Grey Cup, and January 1st, 2014. That ages me a lot. I feel 2014. My goal. There was no more, yeah, we got to enjoy the Grey Cup, but your goal is always to win a Grey Cup. And when you bring a group of people together to chase that goal, and it's either get to know everybody and love everybody around you, or it's going to be a long, hard season. I think that's the biggest thing, like having that relationship with Bag, having those relationships with a guy like Dressler. Like I tried to be friends or be around everybody that I could to bring that relationship up. You always go through hard times. Like that's the biggest thing. It's like being able to overcome that. But that brotherhood, or that familyhood, I should say, is something that'll last forever. You build those relationships, and those relationships, they grow, or time will tell. But as soon as you have that opportunity to get around each other, you start to bring each other back up where you were. So,
Colson, I don't know if you have that footage ready or not, because I don't know if I should go behind the scenes on this, Dan, or not, but when it came to Dan Clark going into the Plaza of Honor, they weren't sure whether or not they wanted to have two receivers going in this year. Do you have that, Colson? Little fake handoff from Durant, swings out far side on his right into this 77's awaiting arms in the end zone at Old Taylor Field. Your recollection of that play?
Well, that play was just don't be that fat kid that dropped the ball. Was that the only thing that I was thinking about? And you know what? That's definitely a note to all people that's an O lineman can call an O lineman fat, and if you're anybody else, you can go in the cold tub. So, but no, this play definitely something that sticks out in my mind. Darian threw the ball perfectly. I think I was very lucky, and I know that I'll probably poke fun at Bag for this one, but I'm the only perfect receiver on that team. Every other receiver's dropped the ball. I've went 3 for 3 in my career and 2 touchdowns, so I don't know anybody that has better stats than that. But again, this is what I'm telling a young kid. What are you willing to do to get on that football field? Man, I was on kickoff return, field goal. I was on anything that I could do just to make an opportunity to be able to play. And you know what? Being rewarded in 2013 when Cortez came to me and said, Mr. Clark, we want you to be a tight end for our team, but you got to make sure there's one thing that you have to do every single time, that's report. So I went through all camp. I went through a little bit of the season, always reporting. I think Corey Chamberlain and I got into a fight one day. He's like, you didn't report. It's like, yes, I did. Yes, I really did. I'm like, it's not me, it's the refs. Go back, watch the film. And then I was able to be awarded with having a receiver number of 77 because I was twice as big as Dressler. So definitely the memories, like, things like that. I caved my face mask in once. That was probably the best play of my life. Still, my wife probably shake her head at me then. That's why CTE is a thing. So, but no, you look at those plays, being a receiver, being able to have those opportunities, it's just living the Sask kid's dream, man. I'm just a kid from Saskatchewan. That's all I am.
Well, and one hell of a resume that you got there, Dan. I mean, come on. You win the 101st Grey Cup at home with your team. What, really quickly before I let you go here, what was that emotion like when you watched this current Saskatchewan Roughrider team win the Grey Cup last year?
Man, are you kidding me? I was almost in tears for a kid like Logan Ferland. Mitch Picton, Brett Lauther. Like, man, like we like Jorgen Hoos. We went through the times, man. Like, we went through the times of, like, it's emotional because I know what it takes to get there, and I know what it's like to go through the grind and not having the opportunity and then winning it, and all you're chasing that next year is how can I get back? How can I get that adrenaline rush again? The one thing, kudos to a Corey Mace team. That's something that's special, that's building, and that will be built for a very long time. They're led by a great person, a great man that will continue to elevate that organization to where they need to be and continue to make the people around him grow. But, man, those local kids are the guys that I was able to spend a lot of time with. to be able to have that opportunity to win a Grey Cup, it's almost like being a proud dad. You shed a couple tears. I won't admit that I'm out there crying the whole time, but it's one of those ones that it's a good thing. You're happy for the people of Saskatchewan. They went through a lot of time to be able to see the Grey Cup raised in a home turf again. So very happy for that team.
Let's go, 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. That'd be wonderful. I would love that back to back.
Let's make it happen. First time in Rider history. Well, now you will be forever enshrined as part of Saskatchewan Roughrider history in the Plaza of Honor. Congratulations. Well-deserved, Dan Clark. And really appreciate you taking the time today.
Thank you very much, you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And most importantly, go Riders.
Let's go. Dan Clark, of course, joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Always appreciate him taking the time. We do need to take a quick break, however, because I believe our next guest is standing by. Coming up next, we're going to be chatting with someone else who is getting some well-deserved recognition, Mr. Chris Getzlaf. We'll be back in just a minute here. This is the Sports Cage, the home of local sports on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The world-famous Kenaston Super Draft is back for the 2026 NHL playoffs with 3 ways to win $80,000. Will an 8 seed actually take down a 1? Will a Canadian team go full beast mode and make a run? Do those coaching changes mean genius or total bench minor energy? Stack your roster, trust your gut, and maybe look like a hockey genius in front of your friends. Forms are online at superdraft.com. Don't forget about the Super 8 for another shot at $10,000. Deadline is today, 6 p.m. Don't miss it, or you'll be riding the pine, bud.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. This is Sportscage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. 620 CKRM.
Thank you for taking time on this Monday afternoon. The Sports Cage Monday edition is, of course, brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. My name is Tegan Whitco. I'm your host, alongside voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, Mr. Dave Thomas. And on the controls, Colson Schultz keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, as well as on the stream on X, YouTube, sportscage.com. You know where to get us. And you can join in the conversation at any point on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. You can always call as well. But, the line might be a little jammed here as we have our next guest standing by. He is a hometown kid, a Grey Cup champion, and one of the most respected players to ever wear green and white. And he is now going into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. Always great to catch up with one of the Rider greats. And joining us now, Mr. Chris Getzlaf. Thanks for taking the time, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I know it's not brand new news. It was announced a couple weeks back here, but I just wanted to extend a congratulations on behalf of the Sports Cage here going into the Sask Sport Hall of Fame. It's got to feel pretty good. What was your initial reaction?
Thank you very much. And yeah, obviously it's a complete honor to be enshrined in something like this and get to join a list of athletes across various sports who have been there before and ahead of me, right? So to be named in the same sentence is always going to be an honor. Let's just leave it at that.
So being from Regina, how special is it to be recognized in Saskatchewan specifically? You already have a lot of accolades on your resume, but this one's got to hit a little closer to home.
Yeah, obviously this one is the province you grew up in. My way to get there was through a team that you grow up cheering for and you get the opportunity to have a long career with and make so many memories on that side of it. So when you're getting recognized for something that is for all sport, not just for football, obviously that's an extra step.
Very well deserved. Long time coming. Congratulations, Chris. When you take that into account, when you hear that you're going into the Hall of Fame, is that something you dream of, aspire to? Is it a goal of, or is this just the cherry on top of the sundae, if you will?
I think it's more cherry on top. I mean, I've spent my goal setting around, different levels and reaching different levels of the game. So whether that was coming out of high school to be able to play at the junior level and then play at the university level and work my way into playing at the professional level. I mean, those are kind of more the individual goals of getting to the next step. I can't say I really spent a lot of time in, a specific goal of like, I really want to get into the Hall of Fame or something. I feel like that's something that if you're reaching those next levels as you're setting those goals, it could be something that naturally comes out of the progression of being able to play the number of years that I was thankful and lucky enough to be able to do.
I don't know who nominated you. I don't have that intelligence, but if
My dad.
I could, your dad, well, that's even better too, because I was going to suggest it's probably the guy that we've got coming on after 5 o'clock, and Darian Durant. He often talks about you and the way that you were able to go ahead and dissect what was happening in front of you and then execute it with your feet, your route running, or whatever had to happen. What made that relationship with Darian so special?
I mean, a lot of it was getting to work together when we were both new in the league. He came a year before I did, I believe. And so we spent time practicing together. We were both kind of scout team guys very early on in our careers. And it really wasn't too long before both of us were seeing the field in a kind of a starting or a supplemental capacity at least. But you just grow chemistry through that additional work and working after practice. And even when that's working the scout team against our starting defense, and you're getting an idea of how each other thinks and how we operate, and a general understanding, and a very good understanding of what an opponent is bringing defensively. If you're able to articulate that during a game at game speed and both be on the same page, that's going to create opportunities. And I think between the two of us, and much more than the two of us, we're just talking about how him and I kind of interacted. But I mean, the more and more people that are on the page and understand that, that's where you find the gaps in the defense and you're able to take advantage of it. So, I mean, Darian had a lot of trust in me. I had a lot of trust in him. And we did a lot of talking outside of the actual game playing field about what we might see, and when we see it, we should be doing this. And if you're able to actually get that to happen on the field, which did happen several times, a lot of success comes along with that.
You look at your career, and again, boy, was it ever successful, right? It sometimes from the outside in looks like it's easy, right? You had to work for it. You had to pay your dues to get there, but it's like, it just makes sense. He's Chris Getzlaf. He's got the athleticism. He's got the brains. Was there ever a time, though, that you doubted yourself? As Dan Clark was on just a few moments ago, he said, yeah, you know what? I had to overcome that and realize that I did belong.
I mean, the feeling of belonging, I guess I've always had a confident mindset and how I kind of approach the game. A lot of that to do with starting on the bench for a lot of teams before ever getting to play. So I don't know, I always had kind of that work first mentality that would lead to eventual success in whatever position I was trying to accomplish or level. But of course, there's going to be areas where you end up with having some doubts in yourself. I mean, 2012, I think it was, I definitely went through a period of time where I was dropping the ball more often than I would like. And that's a challenge that you have to be able to overcome and move on from. And sometimes that can be harder than other stages of your career. But I don't know, there's always going to be challenges. I think that the people who accept those and work towards overcoming those usually end up coming out on top.
So we talk a little bit about the challenges. And of course, every player in your position would go through those challenges. But what about the highlights? When you think back on your career, What's that one moment that will always make you smile?
There's several, obviously. Winning the Grey Cup on home turf, that's can be as easy as an answer as you're ever going to come across. I mean, what a better story is there? The town I grew up in, the team I grew up cheering for, team I got to play for several years, a team that lost 2 Grey Cups in 9 and 10 and gets redemption in 2013 on home turf. Yeah, that's obviously going to be first and foremost. That always jumps out. But the other play that I will always remember and never forget is 2009 in Calgary. One of my first starts, if you will. We are down by 6, minute 30, I think, to go. 3rd and 10, catch a 60-yard touchdown. We end up winning the game by 1. And I would say that game / play was somewhat of a coming out party for me.
Darian Durant.
One of his favorites, too.
That's one. Absolutely. That is top shelf. So he says that there was some unspoken dialogue between the two of you because you had prepared for the potential of that play becoming available. What's your recollection of pre-snap and when the ball is in the air?
Yeah, there's definitely talks about that specific kind of situation that the defense is bringing before that play ever happens. But in my mind, I see them line up in somewhat of a cover zero kind of look, which the play design is going to give me a pretty good opportunity if we're able to take advantage of it. And I just remember that I hit the line with my waggle going full blast. Like, it couldn't have been timed up better when it came to that and the speed coming through it. And we were both on the exact same page, and he hit the spot and was able to outrun to the end zone. Which a guy when a guy has the lack of speed that I have, it's to be able to outrun everybody is pretty good feeling.
I know this is such a movie question, Chris Getzlaf, but like, does that play or others, like, again, you're named the most outstanding Canadian in 2013 in the Grey Cup. Do those moments, do they just seem like they're on slow motion when you recall them in your mind, or is it just a memory now?
I don't know, both, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly a memory that you aren't going to forget. And there's going to be times from time to time where you just kind of sit back and think about that. And that's more of the kind of slow motion effect where you just kind of get caught in the moment thinking in your own mind, of that memory.
So let's go back to, you talked about growing up here in Saskatchewan, now going into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, which is super cool. You worked your way up through every different level of football. And then I saw that you were giving back as well, having been involved with the Regina Thunder as an offensive consultant last year. What was that experience like, and how rewarding was it to be able to mentor young football players?
I mean, it's always a thing that I've prided myself on is getting out in the community through various events. When it came to actually, consulting with the Thunder, it was a cool experience. It was nice to be able to get back into the X's and O's of the game. That had been a minute, that's for sure. But being able to chat with an offensive coordinator and kick ideas and concepts and, structure of an offense at that level again was pretty awesome. So, and that's not even getting to touch on the point of being able to help the players on the field kind of implement that playbook, which was also super rewarding, because that's where it really comes down to, is the players being able to understand the concepts and follow through with how they're supposed to be done.
I'm not sure how to ask this next question, because if I asked it to Luke Mullender, I know exactly what he would say. And his answer would be, yeah, I think so, but don't kid yourself. So, Chris Getzlaf, do you have one more play in you?
I probably got one, yeah, and then be straight to the emergency or whatever, but I probably got a play in me, yeah.
Do I want to know what play it is and who's throwing you the football?
I think I got a corner route in me for sure. I mean, the speed would be even even slower than it was before, which is saying a lot. But I still think I got the hips for it. And then, if we were talking zone coverage, I'd be pretty confident that just because my understanding of the game, we could find some spots.
How do you watch the game? Do you find yourself critically analyzing what the receivers are doing? Are you watching defensive backs? Are you just enjoying the game as a whole? How does Chris Getzlaf watch a game?
A combination. I certainly try to just take in the game as a whole, but you find yourself from time to time being able to pick up what the defensive coverage is, and it's like, they should have hit this or they should have hit that, and but mostly it's just kind of the successful plays. You're like, oh yeah, that lined up exactly how it was supposed to line up, or this guy made this play, or the extensions of plays are the ones that really jump out to me when they do what they're supposed to do and then they hit it, and then all of a sudden you break a tackle or there's a great block that springs a guy and creates just a big play out of something that should have been a first down.
Well, Chris Getzlaf, very generous with your time. Appreciate you coming on today. And again, congratulations on your upcoming induction to the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame. So well deserved.
Yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And it's a true honor to be recognized in this way.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Chris, joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline here. We are going to take a quick break. We got to come back with the sports ticker here in just a couple of moments. It's a Sportscage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
This is Country Gold with Steve Harmon, your home for the country hits of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Hello, I'm Steve Harmon, inviting you to join me for Country Gold. Each week we play country favorites from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and we check in with the stars who made them, too. This weekend on Country Gold.
Country Gold, brought to you by Trent Dickin and his experienced team at Flooring Superstore. Saturday mornings at 6 and Sunday afternoons at 4 on the voice of Saskatchewan, 620 CKRM.
He's gaining on us. Quick, let's hide in the garage.
No, it's stuck again.
You said you fixed it.
I meant to. I just never called Busy Bee Doors.
Lift it, hurry, lift it.
It won't budge. It's busted.
Don't let a broken garage door turn into a horror story. Call Busy Bee Doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
Why wouldn't a guy or girl want a chance to win some real cash this NHL playoff season? The world-famous Kenaston Playoff Super Draft is open, and you can get in on the chance to win your share of $80,000. Are you taking a Fernando Pisani or John Drew style dark horse, or are you just going to stick with the household names? Grab your forms online at superdraft.com, and don't forget about the Super 8 for another chance at $10,000. Deadline is today at 6 p.m. superdraft.com.
Remember Bill in high school? $2,000 car, $7,000 stereo.
Now he's got a $700,000 drill, $2,000 worth of scrap iron for openers.
Morning. That drill may be fancy, but worn tips can lead to inconsistent depth and potentially lost yield. A fancy drill alone does not equal accurate seating.
Fancy drill, cheap openers. Don't be the new Bill. Talk to Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture, precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture, on farm for you.
It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. Rent a water heater and water softener starting at about $1.20 a day and get $400 when you switch to Reliance Heath.
It was announced earlier today the class of 2026 Plaza of Honor inductees include Begg, Clark, McCallum. They will be going into the Plaza later this year. And if you missed out on our conversation with Dan Clark, you can always go back and listen to it in podcast form. He joined us pretty quickly off the start of the show here. TELUS Cup Under 18 AAA Championship. Regina Pats Canadians take on the Peterborough Petes at 5 o'clock tonight. NHL playoffs continue. You got the Wild in Dallas taking on the Stars. The Wild up 1 game in that series. Ducks, Oilers, Game 1. Edmonton, let's go. Ottawa Senators in Carolina to face the Hurricanes as well. Carolina up in that series by a game. And then the Flyers taking on the Penguins, 5 o'clock. Again, Flyers up in that series, 1-0. Major League Baseball, Toronto Blue Jays open up a brand new set. This is game 1 of 3 against the Los Angeles Angels, and they are coming off a win, so everybody hold your horses, calm down. The season is not yet over for the Toronto Blue Jays, okay? Now, season is winding down in the NBA. Raptors are in the playoffs. Taking on the Cavs. Game 2 is tonight at 5 o'clock. Cleveland up 1-0 in that one. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers announced that they have signed Adam Bighill to a single-day contract so he may retire as a member of the team. Sportscage.com poll. Who deserves to win the Stanley Cup this year? Who deserves to win the Stanley Cup? A lot of people I've been talking to seem to be pulling for Buffalo. I don't know if it's just out of sympathy or what it is, but who do you think deserves to win? Go to the sportscage.com poll. Vote for yourself. You can always text us as well on the Prairie Land Rentals text line at 306-936-6262. They got you covered for all your equipment needs. Deal with the owner, 600 Albert Street. That is your sports ticker brought to you by Reliance Group of Companies. Okay, so I do also just want to mention here really quick while I have some time before we hit news, we are giving away that backyard putting green as well. So if you've been following along, it's simple. All you have to do is text us a keyword every day. I do believe this is the final week of this. So today's keyword is PAR. P-A-R. Just simply text that into us. That means one entry. You only get one entry a day. 306-936-6262 on the Prairie Land Rentals text line. This thing is going to be slick for whoever wins it. Classic Landscaping Company will come to your house or the winner's house. They will scope everything out. They'll level it all out. They'll customize it to fit your backyard. It is going to be absolutely lovely. If you want more information on this, by the way, you can always go to thesportscage.com as well. We have all the information there that you need. But PAR, that is the word to text in today, 306-936-6262. Still to come, we are going to have your clutch performer on the other side of 5. Barney's going to swing by to talk Kenaston Super Draft. Of course, Darian Durant is going to be joining us, and we have an exclusive conversation with Brett Lauther. In case you missed it, Ottawa REDBLACKS place kicker. It feels weird to call him a Red Black, but that's the reality that we're living in now. Dave Thomas had that exclusive conversation with him earlier today, and we will have that coming for you in the 5 o'clock hour. Up next, Pat Barry, head coach of the Saskatoon Valkyries, is going to be joining us after your news, so hang tight. It's the Sports Cage, and it's on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
We are the voice of Saskatchewan. 620 CKRM Regina, a Harvard media station.
CKRM!
It's 4 p.m. Good afternoon, 15 degrees and sunny in Regina. I'm Denis Conroy from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with 620 CKRM News for Bronco Plumbing Heating, where professional service is guaranteed. They'll treat you right. 781-2090. Inflation rose sharply in March as higher gas prices pushed overall costs up across Canada. Statistics Canada says the annual inflation rate reached 2.4%, up more than half point from February. Gasoline prices jumped 21.2% in a single month, the largest increase on record, following rising global oil prices linked to the war in Iran. Without gasoline, inflation would have been lower. Food price growth slowed, though fresh vegetables became more expensive. The Bank of Canada is watching closely ahead of its April 29 interest rate decision. Regina has won the bid to host the 2028 Canada 55 Plus Games, bringing the national event back to the city. The games will run from August 21st to August 24th and welcome athletes aged 55 and over from across Canada. Officials say the event promotes active living and healthy lifestyles. Regina last hosted the games in 1996. Organizers expect about 2,000 participants in 2028. The City of Regina, Tourism Saskatchewan, and the Regina Hotel Association are providing funding support for the event. As the prairie snow begins to recede, Regina residents are trading winter coats for safety vests. Queen City Eastview Community Association Executive Director Dennis Simard explains.
May 30th, we'll actually be doing a community cleanup where we invite the public and the community to come out with us, and we'll be cleaning up the green spaces, going down to the local park, taking off all the graffiti, making sure that everything's clean for the kids, the park benches, the tables, all those other things.
The North Central and Al Ritchie Community Associations will also be holding community cleanup events this spring. A new study says Canadian Western Agribition added a record $151.3 million to Saskatchewan's economy last year. The economic impact is up 30% from 2023, according to Praxis Consulting. Agribition drew more than 151,000 visitors during its 6-day event in November, boosting tourist spending to nearly $110 million. Organizers and city leaders say the show fills hotels, restaurants, and venues across Regina. The event supports more than 1,000 jobs and highlights Saskatchewan's role as a global agricultural leader. Drivers have one less tax to worry about for the next few months. As of today, the federal excise tax on gasoline and diesel is being relaxed until September 7th. President of the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities, Bill Huber, says it will help RMs.
It'll help municipalities on not only the fuel that they use in their own equipment, graders and gravel trucks, etc., but even for municipalities that contract out their graveling for roads.
The tax break is expected to save an average of 10 cents a litre on regular gasoline and 4 cents a litre on regular diesel. That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sastoday.ca and 620ckrm.com.
Breakdowns never happen at a good time. That's why regular maintenance matters. A protection plan from Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling helps keep your plumbing, heating and cooling systems running efficiently, your air clean, and your utility costs down. It stops small issues from becoming expensive problems while keeping the price affordable. Call 781-2090 or visit broncoplumbing.com today. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, and Bryant, whatever it takes.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. Mostly sunny skies today and a high of plus 14. Mainly clear tonight, dropping to plus 4. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 21. For Wednesday, a high of 20 with mostly sunshine. Thursday, showers, possibly a mix of snow, falling to 0 degrees. And then Friday, snow and a high of -2.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now Next Gen Coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings. 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Smokem Diesel in Regina. So you want to do it yourself? No problem. We sell injection pumps, injectors, and turbos to fit all your needs. Find us on Facebook today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Thank you for taking the time. Monday edition of the Sports Cage for Smokem Diesel. I'm Tegan Whitcoe. Beside me is Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Colson Schultz is on the controls, keeping us on the air on 620 CKRM, on the stream, in multiple locations as well. Sportscage.com, our X account, YouTube. However you want to watch along or listen along, we're glad to have you here. And you can join in the conversation at any time, just like Dean did. Enjoying the conversations that we had with Dan Clark and Chris Getzlaf. 2 very different personalities, but great insights. Thanks for that, Dean. You can also text us, 306-936-6262. Prairie Land Rentals text line, of course, for Prairie Land Rentals. Small power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need. Deal with the owner at 600 Albert Street. Okay, I think we're going to jump right out. Western Pizza guest hotline. Joining us right now, of course, Pat Barry, head coach of the Saskatoon Valkyries. Now their season is getting underway here shortly, so appreciate you taking the time, Pat. I'm sure you're busy this time of year.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're it's been a little bit challenging with the weather we've been having, but yeah, we're trying to get ready for this weekend.
Well, hopefully that's enough snow. I don't even want to say that word. I don't want to jinx it. It'll be fine.
It's been nuts. Yeah. Oh, it's been crazy. And then I think it's supposed to be like 19 degrees tomorrow for our practice. And then, I don't know. It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster.
Well, rain, snow, sun, it's all going down next weekend, next Sunday, or this Sunday, pardon me. Regina Riot, Saskatoon Valkyries. That's got to be an exciting game to start off the season with, I imagine.
It really is. I mean, whenever Regina and Saskatoon to get together in any sport, it's always an exciting time. They're for sure our biggest rival. And, I've got a lot of respect for, everyone on that team. And, Claire does a great job getting her team ready. And, it's something that we look forward to. It's a little nerve-wracking game one, as you mentioned, Tegan, but we're hopeful that it goes well.
Well, 5 straight championships for the Saskatoon Valkyries, an incredible accomplishment to say the least. What stands out to you most about this last particular few seasons compared to, previous years?
Well, I think it's really the resilience of our athletes is pretty impressive. We had a very, very young team last year, and I think we're going to be a pretty young team again this year. We've lost some players, as people move on, they're all adults and life takes over in certain ways, but we're always looking for new people to join our team. And that has happened this year, but I think it's really just sort of the leadership of our team is, they do such a good job of being welcoming and getting new people to join us and, to sort of figure out what tackle football is all about. I know football is really in the news a lot lately. Obviously at the pro level, you had a couple really pretty great long-term pros from Saskatchewan that you guys were just talking to. So that was pretty exciting. And, but with the emergence of flag football just exploding, it's something that, we're happy to be a part of that in the province for sure.
How do you do it? You look at female tackle football, and maybe I'm old, but it seems like just yesterday that programs were starting to begin and form and being put together, and it almost seems like a snowball that's now continuing to grow and build as it rolls down the hill. How have you been able to keep the momentum going?
Well, that's that for sure is one of the biggest challenges that we face. Is trying to get people to come out. You're right. Like it's, again, no one gets paid on our team. It's just for the love of the game that we have people who continue to do that. And I think, the word of mouth and the influence of our elite programs in the province, that is something that has definitely helped us over the years. We also get great support from Football Saskatchewan and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Rough Rider Foundation is absolutely instrumental to our program and to the Regina Riot program. Like, we're really pretty fortunate in the WWCFL with the support that we get from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's second to none.
So tell me a little bit about your team. You mentioned they're young. They've just won a championship. You've won multiple championships. How high is the ceiling for your group still?
Well, we're still trying to figure out what we're going to be this year. We've been practicing indoors here in Saskatoon at a few different venues for the last couple of months, and we've been able to be outside one time so far. We had a couple postponed in Saskatoon. We got a huge dump of snow just the other day, and it's finally melting now. But yeah, we're hoping that we can get out and do a full practice with all of our special teams tomorrow and see what we've got and make sure we can get things ready. Install on our team is a little bit different than when you're talking to, someone like a team like the Rams or the Huskies or the Thunder or the Hilltops or the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Like everyone's either a student or they've got a job, and we practice late at night as an adult team, and we try to install as quickly as we can. But it's sometimes challenging to get everything ready, especially at this time of year.
With success comes a lot of expectation. When you look at your club, I mean, the Saskatoon Valkyries, we've mentioned it a couple of times here, they're a force to be reckoned with. So how do you, as a coach, keep that standard high and, I guess, prevent complacency?
Well, I think Tegan, you just said the term. We try to use it from time to time. It's called our standard. Like we feel like when we play to a standard, our standard, it's we're pretty tough to beat. It's something that we try and get the new players or even the players who've been around for a period of time or people who maybe are just trying it out. Like we try and get them to understand what our standard is, our standard of play. And that's something that we try to get everyone up to speed as quickly as possible.
So when you are building the foundation that you have, what do you hope your athletes get out of the program?
Well, I mean, like obviously, like it is like we do like we are an elite program. Like that's the way that we approach it. But we want them to have success. But something as a coach, like I've been doing this for a long time. I want them to have fun. I think football is the greatest team sport in the world. And I definitely, I guess the sort of the newest thing for me is, we have young women on our team who join us who they have a solid background in football. In the earlier years of the club, that definitely wasn't the case. So it's, you have a lot of young women who have played some six-a-side tackle football. Many, many women have played flag football and touch football. But yeah, I find that to be kind of, a great change that has happened since the early years of the club back in 2011.
And you mentioned nobody's getting paid, and it's a lot of volunteer hours. I know Michelle Duchesne puts in a ton of hours, not just for your team, but at the league level as well. But your assistant coaches as well all come from varying programs, varying success, but I'm sure they all have different voices to lend.
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the things, throughout Saskatchewan, like when you have the various coaching staffs around the province, your volunteer coaching staff is so essential. And we're pretty fortunate in Saskatchewan because we can draw on some great resources at all levels of the sport. I've coached high school for many years and at SMF here in Saskatoon and the Kinsman Football League as well. But it's, like the volunteer coaching in our province is just so impressive, and it's essential for running all of our programs.
So as you're getting ready for another season, kicking off this weekend, leadership has always been a big foundation of your group. So who are you looking at? Who are some of the players that you're counting on to set the tone?
Well, you're always you're hopeful that that your group that you have coming back, you expect them, you have certain expectations for them in leadership positions, and then you're always hoping that you get a new group of leaders to step up, and it looks like that is starting to happen for us. When I see on our defense, we have a player who's Danny Girolami. She has been an exceptional player for us for a number of years, and she looks like she's going to be a big factor for us this year on the defense. Emery Hobgawaks, who's originally from Mooseman, she's an outstanding defensive player playing on our defensive line, and just really excited to see what she can do. And then we have a player who's been, we have a couple other defensive players. Emery Dale, who's our starting middle linebacker. She's someone who is a very, very talented football player and is a leader on the field for us. And, we also have a defensive back, Kaylin O'Neill, who's also our kicker. And I'm just so pleased with how she plays. She's such a great athlete, and she's such a hard worker. And it's just it's really exciting to have leadership like that on our team. We're as you can tell, I mentioned a lot of defensive players. We're very experienced on the defensive side. Maybe not quite as much on the offensive side, but that's okay. We saw some great performances from some of our young offensive players last year, and we're looking for some breakout seasons from some of our running backs and receivers and our young quarterbacks too. So that's something that we're looking forward to.
Can you tell me a little bit about the construction of your roster? Just listening, so you've got players that have some six-a-side experience. You've got another young woman that's come from Mooseman. You've got Emma Ray Dale, who played for the Saskatoon Hilltops at one point. How have you formed this team, and where are the athletes coming from? And I guess maybe what level of experience do they have when they join the program?
Well, some have zero experience, but I guess throughout the history of the club, like going back to the beginning of the club, like the leadership on our team, like you mentioned, Michelle Duchesne, like she's our general manager and is one of the founders of the WWCFL. She is someone that is such a leader in women's football in the province, and our coaching staff, like our coordinators, our offensive coordinator is Marcy Halseth, and she was a U Sport basketball player with the Huskies for many years, and so she was an elite athlete. And Beth Thompson, our defensive coordinator, was also a U Sport wrestler, and they both played on the Hilltop, or pardon me, they both played on the Valkyries. They both played for Team Sask and Team Canada, and so they've represented Saskatchewan nationally, and also Canada at the IFAF World Championships too. So we're pretty fortunate in the leadership on our team, and it's exceptional. Like the leadership when it comes to football, women's football in our province is, I can't speak higher of it.
So if I was to sit down and we were to draw up X's and O's on a piece of paper, who would win between Marcy Halseth and her offense and her husband Cody Halseth and his defense at the University of Saskatchewan?
Oh, I don't know. I know Cody pretty well too. He's a good coach. I sure don't want to start a problem at the breakfast table at the Halseth house. That's for sure. But that's awesome, Dave. Yeah, Cody's a great guy. He's an excellent coach. He was a coach on the Valkyries a number of years ago, and he's spent so much time with Football Saskatchewan, and now defensive coordinator on the Huskies. Yeah, that's I have no comment.
That was a very safe answer, Pat.
I was going to hedge my bets and say Marcy, just to be sure. Just we got everything covered then.
So Libel Field, that's going to be coming up before we know it. That first matchup against the Regina Riot, I bet you've got to be looking forward to it. So just kind of final thoughts there. What can fans expect to see from the Valkyries when they take to the field?
Well, first, I hope a lot of people come out. Libel Field is such a great place. I remember playing on it as a young boy back when it was grass in RMF. I used to live in Regina, and it's such a great venue, and people of Regina should be so proud of that facility and what everyone's done there. Len Antonini, I know, is a big, a big part of that with RMF, But yeah, I know every time we come down there, it's always exciting. When you think about the rivalries that we have, we're pretty fortunate, to have, two elite programs in our province. And we are hopeful that this summer, I don't know, I'm going to plug it right now, but I got to work with a number of these ladies as well. We're going to be having a women's team Sask, as we're hosting it in Saskatchewan this summer too. So you get to work with, they are opponents, for the spring. Then hopefully we all get together in the summer. We can win a national championship for Saskatchewan as well.
That's really cool. And we mentioned her name a couple of times here. We're going to have to get her on to talk a little bit more specifically to this. Michelle Duchesne, obviously one of the Valkyries founders and WWCFL founder, but the Valkyries team from 2011 to 14 are being inducted into the Saskatchewan Sport Hall of Fame. You must take a lot of pride in being able to work with an organization who has such a storied history.
Yeah, it's really pretty amazing. Like that's quite an honor. I know I was just at the tail end of that with that team that was being inducted. I was a position coach on the 2014 team. But the athletes on that team, the leadership on that team, our head coach at the time was Jeff Yowsey, the executive director of Football Saskatchewan. As you mentioned, Michelle Duchesne is our general manager, and she's been with the team since its inception. it's a great honor. And you think about all of the athletes who were on the team during that time. I got to know quite a few of them, not all of them. But yeah, it's, whenever an honor like this happens, it's a big deal. And especially a team getting inducted, football is the ultimate team sport. To have, you just don't expect something like that. So it's such an honor when it happens. It's quite rare, obviously, but.
Well, congratulations. You're on a dynasty of a team. The head coach getting back at her right away here. We're going to have to catch up at some point a little bit later on this season, Pat.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Well, appreciate you taking the time. Saskatoon Valkyries head coach Pat Barry joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a season. And even more football to look forward to this summer.
You know what? Absolutely. And I'm intrigued by that, that I had no idea that event was going on in Saskatoon this summer. So
we're breaking news here on the Sportscage today. Look at that. No, appreciate all of our guests joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. If you missed out on any of the conversation with Pat Barry, you can always go back and listen in podcast form. Same goes for Chris Getzlaf and Dan Clark, whom both also joined us on the show, and we do still have Darian Durant on the way. We're going to catch up with Barney in a little bit here. We got your clutch performer, sprinkle of the day, sports ticker, that, and so much more. Why don't we take a quick break, though, and we'll come back on the other side. It's the Monday edition of the Sports Cage for Smokem Diesel, and they do not sell junk. Just a reminder, genuine OEM parts. Anything you need for repair, new parts, contact Smokem Diesel. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The original 620 CKRM Country Cookouts are back for the spring. Listen to CKRM for the dinner bell cue to call for the chance to win a delicious meal from Nikki's Cafe and Catering for your hard-working crew. We'll also bring live music and prizes. CKRM will help bring your farm community alive. Our way of thanking you for all of the years and support. Sponsored by
McBids, Sask Milk, Nelson Homes, Louis Dreyfus Canola Crush in Yorkton, Croft Electric, and Nikki's Cafe and Catering.
The auction calendar is stacked at Ritchie Brothers, and an exciting Regina auction is happening May 28th. Visit their website or Regina location to view a wide variety of used heavy equipment from top brand manufacturers. You won't want to miss this great opportunity. Head to rbauction.com/Regina to sign up and be ready for the auction. Again, that's rbauction.com/Regina.
What's going on in the markets? When is the right time to invest? What should you do with your money today? When Len had questions, he talked to Brian Golly.
I was with the bank, but they're a little bit too big, a little bit impersonal. I was kind of looking for someone with more of a personal touch, and Brian's a good old Saskatchewan boy and a really good guy to deal with.
You don't have to plan your financial future alone. Call Brian Golly of Smart Investing Solutions. 306-546-2533.
I would recommend him to anyone.
The Sports Cage Clutch Performer for Keln Solar. Thinking about saving money by using solar power? Keln Solar is a local family company that can put solar panels on your home, business, or farm. KelnSolar.com.
Clutch performers. I have a couple.
Go figure.
Yeah, who would imagine? Who would have
Your
imagined?
show, you do what you want to.
Juraj Slavkovsky, Montreal Canadiens. You got to start there. Scored 3 times, all on the power play. Got a hattie. And his final goal of the game, 122 into overtime to lift the Canadiens over their opponents in the Tampa Bay Lightning for a 4-3 win in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And you know what? I particularly like this as a clutch performer because you remember all the haters that were giving the Habs a rough time for picking him first in the draft, 2022? I want to say it was 2022. Everyone was questioning that decision, saying that was not the right move. Well, he is showing them that it was, in fact, the right move. So I kind of like that. There's a little grit in there.
Okay.
A little bit of grit. Also, kind of an unclutch. But this is not an international competition. Why were Tampa Bay Lightning fans chanting USA?
Do you know what baffled me yesterday as well? The USA chant, for sure. But did you notice in Buffalo they played the Canadian national anthem before the game?
Apparently they do that all the time. Because they're so close geographically, and they have so many fans from Canada, north of the border, where they just, I guess, do that. I've never been to a game in Buffalo. Did not know that was a thing until people started talking about it after yesterday.
I concur. That's something. There you go.
Very interesting. Very interesting choice. Speaking of Buffalo.
Yep.
That crowd, another clutch. The fans in Buffalo who went straight from Bills Mafia mentality to Stanley Cup playoff fanatics. They were doing some crazy stuff out front of the arena before the game. There was fans decked out. Oh yeah, at the end there, when Buffalo wins, if you're watching the stream, you can see the crowd just goes berserk. They have these stanchions up, these metal stanchions. They were not holding anything back. Like they had security pushing up the gates so these fans aren't just going to start stampeding through, but they're absolutely loving this. Pre-game, here we go. Colson's putting it up on the stream right now. There's fans that are dressed up in full uniforms on rollerblades, and they have this Boston dummy, like punching dummy set up there, and they're just going to town on it. Buffalo fans are something different.
Hey, 15 years between playoff games in Buffalo?
Yeah, 15 years in the making, and they definitely, they drank to catch up with it. Oh, man. And then, the fan Zamboni. Only in Buffalo would a guy be shirtless on this fan Zamboni.
That's the Bills O-line there, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that is. Oh, gosh, I love it. I love it so much. So the Sabres, they rallied. 4 goals late in the third.
Yeah,
shocked the Bruins. Right? Yeah. That is also clutch. So they take game 1. Thompson scored twice for Buffalo. Big boy. And Alex Tuck, who grew up in Buffalo. Or he grew up a Buffalo Sabres fan, pardon me.
Yeah.
So he got the empty netter, which eventually would be the game winner, locking in the victory for them. And it was like 1 minute left in the third, I want to say, maybe just over a minute left in the third where he got that. So that had to have been pretty special for Tuck.
Oh, the whole thing. The whole thing, right?
The whole
Absolutely.
thing. Okay, now you go, because Colson does not have a clutch performer today, not to throw you under the bus or anything. But one of...
Wow, that seemed pretty under the bus to me.
We're having tech troubles.
I know.
It happens.
I know, buddy. It's fine. Alan Lee, one of our other Sportscage producers and contributors to our website, he actually sent one on your behalf. So we'll get to that as our final clutch performer.
Okay.
But I want you to go first, Dave.
Okay, well, I'm a baseball fan, and the Pittsburgh Pirates, Braxton Ashcraft and Joey Bart, they are pitcher-catcher. And, there has to be a relationship between the two of them for sure, and they took it to the next level last week, as Ashcraft and his wife Cassidy knew that they were expecting a baby. They also knew that they were doing gender reveal, and why wouldn't you in 2026? So they also knew that there was going to be a baby girl, but only the two of them knew. So they invited their entire family to come out to the ball game to find out what they were having. So as Ashcraft took to the mound, his catcher goes running on, and Joey Bart comes running out with a pink sleeve on his throwing arm to let the family know that it was going to be a baby girl. He's smiling ear to ear. You can see it on our stream at sportscage.com. But
they're holding the pink and the blue.
Yeah.
Why can't I think of the name?
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Oh, my gosh. It's
Absolutely.
Monday. Oh, that's so good.
That's pretty cool that Ashcraft still was dialed in, pitched a pretty good inning, right? With all of that going on. And again, you got to keep it under your hat, or I guess off your uniform or whatever. But yeah, very cool when he came out to pitch and the whole family was there. So clutch. Catcher coming in clutch.
Catcher coming in clutch. So that's one more clutch performer. The final one here, as I mentioned, comes from Alan Lee.
Okay.
He sent this to me over the weekend. And there is a local connection here. Regina's own Chris DeSoltel, he was reffing in a UFC card in Winnipeg. Didn't even realize there was a UFC card in Winnipeg over the weekend, but we'll get to that in a minute here. So DeSoltel, he is actually the assistant director of the Saskatchewan Police College, and he's one of the highest ranked Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructors in the province. So he was at that card, and he was reffing it. That's pretty dang clutch.
That is
if I do
pretty
say
clutch,
so myself.
Yeah.
Getting up there to the bigs. Regina's own, representing.
Nice. Congrats. That's cool. Very cool.
Have you ever been to a UFC card?
You know what? I haven't. I've been invited to many, and You know what? I've been invited to watch parties and whatnot, but I've never been live. You?
See, here's the thing. I used to be heavily invested in UFC. Ronda Rousey days, Conor McGregor. I was going to say McDavid. Don't do that. Could you imagine him in the octagon? My goodness. And then this was, like the Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, like that era of the UFC, I was invested. And then I don't know what happened. It started feeling a little more like wrestling to me, and I'm not really a wrestling fan. It was just a lot of the jabbing at each other. I digress. I've been to one UFC card, and it was in Saskatoon.
Okay.
Probably don't remember that, do you? UFC coming to the province?
No.
It was the one and only time there was a UFC card in Saskatchewan.
Because they had to get a special license or something, didn't they?
They did. It was a fight night. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I did write it down. It was Holloway, Oliveira, August of 2015. So we buy tickets. We drive up to Saskatoon. We were living in Moose Jaw at the time.
Not Brady, right?
No, different Oliveira.
Yeah, okay. I was like, whoa. Okay, fair enough.
I mean, he probably could, though. He'd be a heavyweight, but it was supposed to be a really, really good card. Didn't really recognize a ton of other names on it, so I was excited for Holloway, Oliveira. Those were recognizable names that I knew.
Yeah.
We get up there. First, pre-card, whatever. It's a fight night, so not every fight is going to be great. Then we get to the main event. And then we see, okay, it started. Oliveira goes to throw a punch. And then, not sure what happened. It was like blink and you miss it. He was on the ground in the middle of the octagon, not moving. People are freaking out outside the cage, have no idea what just happened. It was just instant, maybe 30 seconds into the match. And then they had to stretcher him off. Thankfully, he was okay. I wasn't sure what happened, but it was in his esophagus. He got a micro tear from throwing
a punch, not
a punch.
Receiving a punch.
He was not touched, but he tore his esophagus, and that effectively ended the night.
Wow.
Yeah, Dana White, if you're listening, which I'm sure he listens every day.
Yeah.
We need a make do or a make good UFC fight night in Saskatchewan, because that was the last time they've ever been here. I don't see any plans for them to come back. They'll go to Winnipeg, but they won't come here.
Torn esophagus?
A micro tear.
Wow. Throwing a punch. Not receiving, but throwing.
Throwing. He was, unharmed. Most boring main event I've ever watched.
I don't think it was that unboring for him.
Well, no. But I didn't see it happen. So we were all very confused. And at that point, the house lights go up and they're like, okay, have a good night, everybody. They didn't explain it while we were there.
You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here, really?
Yep.
No way.
Good night.
Wow.
Well, because they were anticipating them to go the distance.
Yeah, for sure.
They weren't. So I don't even think they had shut down the beer sales or the concession lines. It was just very abrupt. Bye. See ya.
And
thanks for your money.
You found out after the fact, I'm assuming?
On Twitter.
Wow.
I mean, eventually there was news articles that came out about it explaining everything that happened. But in the moment it felt like a letdown.
No address, no public address, nothing.
Nope.
Wow.
So you heard me, Dana White. Wow. Bring UFC back to Saskatchewan. You owe us. Wow. So that is
I just can't stop saying, wow.
It was a wild
partial
situation.
Tear of the esophagus.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I can guarantee there were some other people that were very frustrated about the whole situation, but that's what happens when you go to UFC fights. You never know what's going to go down.
Partial tear of the esophagus. Is that like a total eclipse of the heart? Or is it...
That is...
We need a commercial now.
Your clutch performer of the day. That last one, unclutch.
Unclutch.
Brought to you by Keln Solar. You know they can help with your livestock operations. Book your solar quotes for your home, farm, or cabin. Save money with the local company, Keln Solar in Lumsden. Yeah, I don't know how to recover from that. We got to take a break. We'll be back on the other side. It's the Sportscage on the home of local sports. 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
To celebrate CKRM's 100th anniversary, we're honoring the icons who helped shape this station into what it is today. Our next 620 CKRM icon inductee, Jeff Courier. Here's a behind the mic moment with Jeff Courier.
It's actually something I'd always wanted to do as a little boy, listening to Hockey Night in Canada, and most days it was probably Bill Hewitt or somebody like that doing Hockey Night in Canada, but I always thought that would be kind of fun. I never really took it very seriously until later on in my 20s, some friends of mine were doing volunteer work at the radio station at Carleton University, which is a very good campus community radio station, which is still in operation. They've just gone through 50 years for that operation. And I started to dip my toe in that water and got more and more involved in it. And after doing that for a couple of years, realized that perhaps I could maybe make a living doing it. And I was really fortunate to get hired on as a junior guy at the Heritage Station in my hometown of Ottawa, which was CFRA at the time. And I was working with local legends, guys who'd owned this city for decades. So I was mentored by some of the really big name people. It was a dominant radio station. We just owned the whole city. And so I gained an appreciation for working with good people.
To hear the full extended interview, visit our 100th year page at 620ckrm.com or sasktoday.ca.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but spring is just around the corner. They're thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
Getting in on more of the sports action you want is as easy as playing at sportselect.com. Simply make your picks online, generate your QR code, and lock in your bet at your local Lotto Spot retailer. Then sit back, watch the game, grip your chair, and high-five anyone nearby. Every bet is 100% legal with the chance of winning cash in hand. When you're ready to play, bet on the original. Must be 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
This is Sportscage. Watch our live stream at sportscage.com and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome back. Thanks for taking the time. Monday edition of the Sports Cage brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel. If you're a fix-it-yourself type of person, Smoke'em Diesel can supply you with injectors, injection pumps, turbos, and all diesel hard parts. I'm Tegan Whitco, your host. Dave Thomas is with me. Voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, taking a phone call. Big deal, you know? He'll be back in later. Colson Schultz, he's on the controls, keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, and on the stream at sportscage.com, of course. And a reminder to text in today's keyword if you want a chance to win your own backyard customized putting green by Classic Landscaping Company. They will come to the winner's house. They'll landscape it all out. They'll do a real slick job. Oh, look at that. There's Dave Thomas. Today's keyword is PAR, P-A-R. Text that in, 306-936-6262. Dave, you're back just in time for us to jump out on the Western Pizza guest hotline.
I had breaking news.
Anything you can share?
Yeah, absolutely. A torn esophagus is nothing like a total eclipse of the heart. We now know that from medical professionals.
The Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. We're not going... total eclipse of the heart, my goodness. Okay, joining us now, Barney from the Sports Cage. You might recognize him. Thanks for taking the time, Barney. You get your Kenaston Super Draft? I don't...
Total eclipse of the heart's going through my head now.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him.
You know what? I bet you I can stump him. We're both Roxette fans, but do you know the most famous Christmas song they ever wrote?
Yeah. Must Have Been Love?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
it was originally a Christmas song, and they had to write it for the movie for Pretty Woman, so
And
they
they didn't
rejigged it.
And they didn't want to do it.
No.
Those
Did
are
you
the
ever hear the story how they became big in North America?
No.
Okay, well, I could tell that another
Oh,
time.
yeah, we're going off
Hey,
the
I went to
rails here.
Saskatoon and Sask Place to see Roxette, so there you go. Live that dream.
One of my biggest regrets. Roxette, Saskatoon, missed it. First Metallica with Godsmack in the 90s, missed it because I knew they'd come back, which they didn't for a long time. And Linkin Park.
Ooh.
And then, obviously, Chester passed on. Big regret guy.
Well, if
Don't
you
have
learned anything,
regrets.
well, yeah, if you learned anything from the Sports Cage today, go to the damn concert
That's true.
or go to the game.
And I
for
was
that
going to say,
matter.
live regret-free. Get a Kenaston Super Draft done today, otherwise you're going to regret it.
Yeah, today's the deadline, right, Barney?
6 o'clock, I literally just scanned my 7. 2 are Sharkies. One's Lotto Lawrence. And the Eric Francis one, I aborted. We're not going to do that one.
You took his money and run. Attaboy.
No, he never paid, and he's going to be fine with it. Although if I win, I'd probably have to kick him something. But I don't, guys, it's 6 o'clock today. I had somebody just message me about an hour ago and be like, I think the boy and I, like his son and they're going to do one. It's only $40 to do one. So that's what they're thinking. I did the 7 for 200. Now, because they always kind of give a few days, right? Are people going Dallas heavy now? Are people going Montreal heavy now? Philly? And what happens tonight in Edmonton? What if
it's going to be a gong
wins,
show?
Are Oiler fans losing their marbles?
Canadian hockey fans? Never. No, definitely not. They're not going to be getting their pitchforks out.
So I listened to you and Sharky debating back and forth. So now that Sharky isn't here and isn't going to hear this, like, do you think he was full of fluff? Like, really?
I don't know. I don't.
Way to answer that.
I don't know. And I messaged him last night and I said, do you want to change anything? And he said, no. And I said, all right. It was right around the time I ripped up the Eric Francis one. And I said, I looked at it twice and I said, I can't do this. So no, yeah, just wanted to jump on and just remind everyone 6 o'clock tonight. So what is that? An hour and 15 minutes. One is 40. You can do a Super 8 for $10. They got superdraft.com. I'm very curious. I did take Minnesota, so I'm not like going back on things or being a poser, because I am actually quite invested in Minnesota on another ticket as well. I did sprinkle in some Montreal yesterday, so John the Habs fan will like that after watching that game. And I might have taken a couple of Anaheim Ducks on one of them.
Did you take Slavkovsky?
Sure did.
Oh, smart man. Smart man. What, $80,000 in prizes? Yeah.
Yeah, 20 grand to the winner. So the funny thing is on Friday, and Dave, you've been around this forever too. Lotto Lawrence said the 1 year he had all 32 players left. And he was like, well, no, and he didn't even have a sniff. So the strategy behind it is, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to win. I just don't want to finish dead last, which I think 1 year I was pretty close.
Well, I'll admit, every now and then I get a little bit nervous when I'm thinking about the Dallas Stars, but I'll be truthful. If I'm taking the Oilers, every now and then I would probably get a little bit terrified.
Goaltending. Oh,
yep.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's going to be it's going to be theater entertaining tonight for sure. Sit back and watch. I absolutely love it. And then, you know what I can't wait for, though, this week, guys? And I know you guys have had an awesome show football-wise. Tomorrow we'll get into a little bit more. Doing the show live from Yorkton on Wednesday before Game 3. I watched the first 2 games on Flow Sports. Flin Flon was the better team. That Charlie Tritt in net, oof. But I am so looking forward to watching that game live on Wednesday.
That barn is going to be rocking.
Yeah. And then I can see the look in his eyes.
Well, and if they win, that means that you have to continue doing the show from there every time they play at home, right? Superstition.
You want to clear that with my wife, who's actually, we found out she's gone to a conference. So we just let the kids know everything. I'm actually sitting at a football practice right now, but yeah, I don't think setting up camp in Yorkton, unless I bring the kids with me, that actually they both wanted to go to the game because they know that, like Dave said, the barn's going to be rocking, and I was like, no, it doesn't work out. So yeah, really looking forward to it.
Well, Wednesday, catch Barney on the Sportscage from Yorkton. Going to be a blast. Hey, do you want to stick around for Sprinkle?
Taps, whatever Taps, the Taps bar in Yorkton. I guess it's supposed to be awesome. It's on Broadway. Is that the
Everything's on Broadway in Yorkton. Yeah.
Okay.
Right next to Holly's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where it'll be. What are you doing for Sprinkle?
I don't know. I was going to see what you thought.
I got this guy. This is maybe be my article I write for sportscage.com tomorrow. I have this guy in Saskatoon. I'm not going to say his name. he's got me, so for Sports Select it doesn't work, but he's got me online on shot blocks. He's got it dialed on guys that are going to block shots in each of these games, and he's parlaying like 3 of them and bringing home big scratch every night. So what's the odds on Sports Select tonight for Anaheim Edmonton tie?
Dun, 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 dun.
By the way, you can get in on the sports action too. Go to sportselect.com, make your picks, generate that QR code, which is exactly what Colson's doing for us right now. And then you can lock it in, take it to your local lotto spot retailer. You can also fill out the paper. Every bet is 100% legal. Chance of winning cash in hand. Sports Select, when you're ready to play, bet on the original. You got to be 18 plus, though. Play responsibly. What are we looking at here? Colson tie. So a $5.
$3.80.
Yeah.
Pay out 19.
Goes into overtime. Or what do you guys think about that over/under number in this game where goaltending on the Edmonton side is?
Let's go over.
6.5.
Okay, I like this. I might hit that tie or that over/under when I leave this park and go and grab a ginger ale.
There you go.
Yeah, I like the over.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm curious if there's going to be. Are we going to see Matthew Tkachuk at all? Can we sprinkle on that? Is he going to be showing up in the stands drinking beers with fans cheering on his brother? Because there was none of that this weekend.
Yeah, well, how about that? 3 seconds in and that little Tilly. That was for a boring game, like for a game that was kind of like whatever. Man, and Philadelphia is going to do. Now I think, and I'm like, okay. Did I not watch Philadelphia enough here? Because they've had to grind to get into the playoffs, and are they going to be that team that maybe goes on a run? I know it's only one game, but yeah,
I can't see it. I don't know.
It's such good. It's so awesome to watch. Like I can't wait to watch tonight or right away. Actually, I'm going to put on the Pat Canadiens game here at 5 and watch that. I'll maybe keep people updated on Twitter too with the score if I can.
A quick thought from you. I know that Tkachuk kind of looked over at Stahl and said, "Turn around, Bright Eyes." But when he did, do you think he should have dropped the gloves or no? I don't think he should have. If I'm the Ottawa Senators, Travis Green, I don't want him dropping the mitts then. Because every now and then he falls apart.
I like it. I don't know. I love it.
I don't. Do you have these written down, or are you just going off the cuff? Turn around, Bright Eyes. I think he's got to go for sure. I think they both got to go. It was a nothing fight. Whatever. For sure. What's going to happen in that Vegas-Utah game tomorrow night with Dowd and Cooley?
They're going to go at it. And I really hope they do.
Can Cooley fight?
Probably not.
Can Cooley fight?
Every now and then he gets a little bit restless.
Dave.
Okay. I gotta go.
Go get your ginger ale, Barney.
Unclutch.
Okay. 6 o'clock deadline. Super Draft.
Yep. Superdraft.com. Get your ticket filled out. Get it entered in. $80,000 in prize money to be won. Barney hopping on just to remind us about that. Appreciate it. As always, joining us on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Kenaston Super Draft. 6 o'clock tonight. We got a little bit of time here. Also, we did have your sprinkle of the day in there. Thanks to Sports Select. Also, if you want to look at futures, that's also an option on the website. If you want to go take a peek, sportselect.com. We do need to get Crofty on the line here right away, so quick break, and then we'll be right back. It's a Sportscage, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
Listen weekdays at noon for Sask Today on CKRM with your host, Ryan Young, offering the most extensive agricultural news coverage with precision weather meteorologists in an industry that moves fast. Stay updated with the latest, most reliable information in ag news, crisis and trends, all in one place. Available anytime at saskagtoday.com. Sask Today, your trusted source for all things agriculture. Sponsored by Affinity Credit Union on 620 CKRM.
Why wouldn't a guy or girl want a chance to win some real cash this NHL playoff season? The world-famous Kenaston Playoff Super Draft is open, and you can get in on the chance to win your share of $80,000. Are you taking a Fernando Pisani or John Drew style dark horse, or are you just going to stick with the household names? Grab your forms online at superdraft.com, and don't forget about the Super 8 for another chance at $10,000. Deadline is today at 6 p.m. superdraft.com.
Winter in Saskatchewan tests everything, our patience, vehicles, and sometimes our bumpers. From icy parking lot dings to serious highway mishaps, choosing local matters. At Regina Motor Products Collision Center, we're Saskatchewan owned, run, and we drive these roads too. An SGI accredited full-service collision center working on all makes and models. Submit your SGI claim and book your appraisal. It's easy. When you need repairs you can trust, it's neighbors helping neighbors. Regina Motor Products Collision Center, south at Highways 1 and 6 Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
Freeze Tallman's all-weather at-home sale is on, and it's big. Save 15% on windows and doors April 13th through 24th. If you've been thinking about upgrading, replacing, or finally tackling that renovation project, this is your moment. Better comfort, better efficiency, better curb appeal, but only for a limited time. Don't wait. These savings disappear April 24th. Visit freeztallman.com and take advantage of the all-weather at-home sale. Freeze Tallman. Locally owned, family grown, rooted in our community for 70 years.
Get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
March Madness is here. NHL playoffs, big golf tournaments, and what are you doing? Watching humans chase balls while your stomach cries for mercy. A crust so golden it could win MVP, and toppings piled higher than the coach's stack of playbooks. Pepperoni flying like pucks on ice. Garlic taking a victory lap around your tongue. Western Pizza. Dine in or take out today.
And get it hot, get it fast, Western Pizza.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brant Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months, plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sport is the home of the Price Match Guarantee. 1425 McIntyre Street, the Cooperator Center, Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center, and online at extremehockey.net.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders have announced their 2026 class for the Plaza of Honor. So you got Begg, Clark, and McCallum all going into the Saskatchewan Roughriders Plaza of Honor. We did have a conversation with Dan Clark about that at the start of the show. If you wanted a chance to go back and re-watch that, listen to it, you can do so wherever you get your podcasts. In addition to that, we were just talking with Barney about this. TELUS Cup Under-18 AAA Championship. The Pat C's taking on the Peterborough Petes at 5 o'clock here, so we're about 6 minutes away from puck drop on that one. NHL playoffs, you got the Wild and Stars. Wild up in that series by a game. Ducks Oilers game 1 tonight. Ottawa Senators, Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina's up 1-0 in that series. And then the Flyers and Penguins. That's going down at 5 o'clock as well. Flyers up in that series, 1-0. MLB, Toronto Blue Jays in LA facing the Angels. First of a 3-game set. NBA, Raptors, Cavs, game 2 in the playoffs. Cleveland is up 1-0. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have also announced that they have signed Adam Bighill to a 1-day contract so he can retire as a member of the team. Sportscage.com poll right now. Who deserves to win the Stanley Cup this year? Not who do you want to win, but who deserves to win. It's interesting. We want to hear what you have to say. Go vote at sportscage.com. You can always chime in on the conversation on the Prairie Land Rentals text line anytime, 306-936-6262. And you know, it is kind of interesting. They did a Angus Reid poll. Mm-hmm. Who is, quote-unquote, Saskatchewan's team? Care to venture a guess?
Who is Saskatchewan's team?
Like, who does Saskatchewan residents vote for? Who do they cheer for the most in this province? Because we don't have our own, right?
I would guess Edmonton.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Ooh, that's
Edmonton Oilers, 33% of Saskatchewanians pull for them. Toronto Maple Leafs, 20%, followed by the Jets, which geographically that would make sense. I don't know why the Leafs are so high up there, but then, Flames, Habs, Canucks, Sens.
Leafs ahead of the Habs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for a while, right? It used to be you were either a Leafs fan or a Habs fan because there were no Jets, Flames, or Oilers.
That's true. That's true. Staying power, to say the least. But I just thought that was an interesting little nugget. But we want our Sportscage.com readers to tell us who they think deserves to win. So let us know.
You, right now, leading the way with a massive landslide of a vote is Connor McDavid. Over 70%. Next is Sidney Crosby, Gabriel Landeskog, and Claude Giroux.
Yeah. McDavid makes a lot of sense.
There's a sentimental pull for Sid, though, isn't there?
Yes, but he's already done it.
You tell him that. You tell him.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
You know what? Right now, we should probably head out on the Western Pizza guest hotline so we don't keep our guest waiting any longer. The one, the only, Dan Croft, Croft Electric, or Crofty, as we like to call him. Thanks for taking the time, my friend.
Hey, how are you guys this beautiful Monday morning?
Happy that it's not blizzarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Cross our fingers that what's coming on Thursday, Friday comes as rain instead of snow.
Well, we can't manipulate the weather at all, but there are a few things that we can manipulate, and that brings us to why you're on the line with us. Did you end up getting anyone hired for that position you were looking at?
No, we're still looking for an estimator, project manager, kind of office person, and a journey person for either construction background or service background in electrical. We will take either. Looking to expand our crew so we can help our customers even more.
Well, yeah, because you do commercial, you do residential, you do industrial, farm. I mean, you guys got a big operation over there at Croft Electric, so many hands make light work. How do people get in touch if they might be interested?
The best way is go on the website. There's an apply button or contact us button where you can book an appointment or send your resume, whichever. We're looking for some fun people that family oriented, that like having a little fun at work and doing a good job. We want, we strive ourselves on the best trained, best electricians in town. So, we're looking for somebody to join that team.
Before we do let you go, the legit question came to me during the storm last week. Someone that I know through a friend had their power go out in the midst of all of that. Obviously, that's not a good thing. And they kind of said, you know what, I think we need to start looking at a generator. If you are looking at a generator, are there things that you need to have on your property, or is it best just to call and get you to take a look and let us know if you can do it or not? Their question, not mine.
Yeah, so there's always a way we can do it. Even if, obviously you need natural gas to run the generator, but there is propane options and diesel options if they don't happen to have natural gas on their property. So there's always a way we can make it happen. We've done units for people that are run on solar, and they actually just want the generator as a backpack, so they're kind of off grid. So yeah, there's always a way we can do it. If they call in or contact us through the website, we can give them kind of a budget, start with that conversation. We like to kind of, say, hey, this is about what it's worth. And, then we can go there, they're like, yeah, that's within budget. We kind of have three options that we kind of give them, partial home, kind of your essential loads, your heating, your deep freeze, that kind of stuff,
yeah.
Pumps. And then their second is for 100 amp service, if that's a basic house. And then a 200 amp service if your house is a little larger, or you're a farm and you got some shops and barns and stuff like that. And that kind of gets us, started. And then as we progress, we can get into the details after that.
Well, do it right. Do it once. Call up Crofty. Croft Electric. How do we get in touch?
The best way is to give us a call, 306-586-1333. And then, of course, as we talked about that website, www.croftelectric.com.
Spoken like a pro. Appreciate the time as always, Crofty.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Enjoy the sunshine.
You bet.
Of course, Dan Croft, Croft Electric, joins us every Monday afternoon. We do need to take a short break here. And, actually, it's time for the news. So we'll be back on the other side. It's a Sportscage on the home of local sports, 620 CKRM, and streaming at sportscage.com.
We are 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station. Streaming online at 620CKRM.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Tanner Wallace-Scribner from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News. Stats Canada reports inflation climbed to 2.4% in March, driven mainly by soaring fuel prices. Gasoline costs jumped more than 21 cents in 1 month, the biggest increase ever recorded. Oil prices rose after Iran moved to close the Strait of Hormuz following military attacks. Stats Canada says inflation would have been at 2.2% without gas prices. Food inflation eased by 4%, helped by earlier tax breaks falling out of comparisons. The figures compare as the Bank of Canada prepares to set interest rates later this month. And if you feel like your dollar isn't stretching as far this spring, you're not alone. New inflation numbers from Stats Canada show Saskatchewan has the second highest year-over-year price increases in the entire country. The Provincial Consumer Price Index rose 2.9% in March, well above the national average. Month to month, Saskatchewan saw a 1.3% jump from February. That is the highest monthly increase of any province west of the Maritimes. Analysts say the primary driver behind the surge is the rising cost of fuel. Canadian Western Agribition delivered its largest economic impact ever in 2025, according to a new report. The study shows the event generated $151 million for Saskatchewan's economy, a big jump from 2 years earlier. Record attendance drove higher spending on hotels, food, and local businesses in Regina. City and tourism officials say Agribition helps support jobs and promotes Saskatchewan worldwide. The 6-day event brings in visitors from across Canada and beyond, helping fill a slower tourism period in November and strengthening Regina's reputation as a major event host. Showcasing issues touching on major Saskatchewan industries, including agriculture, mining, and oil and gas. Sask Today's John Cairns has more on what to expect.
This is the 4th year in a row for the Food, Fuel, Fertilizer Global Summit. It's being put on by the Saskatchewan Chamber of Commerce, and it begins April 21st in Regina. This year, the focus is on global trade, tariffs, and economic security. Prabha Ramaswamy is CEO of the Saskatchewan Chamber. She says it's a very pivotal moment in time as Canada has an opportunity to define its role in the new economic order.
The Food, Fuel, Fertilizer Summit is exactly the place where this conversation is going to happen because we have policymakers in the room, industry leaders, partners, and investors. And from the conversations over the day and a half of this summit, there'll be a policy report that's developed and sent to Ottawa with calls to action and recommendations.
The event begins Tuesday with a keynote speech from Premier Scott Moe, followed by a fireside chat with Tim Gitzel, CEO of Cameco. For Sask Today, I'm John Cairns.
That's 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com.
Join us on April 22nd for the Capital Automotive Group Job Fair at Capital GMC. From sales and service to admin, management, and more, we currently have opportunities at every one of our Regina locations, including Capital GMC Buick Cadillac, Capital Ford Lincoln, Mercedes-Benz Regina, Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Titan Auto, and 2 Universal Collision Center locations. So bring your resume and come say hello. April 22nd, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at Capital GMC on the corner of Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina.
Picture this. You sit down to watch TV and suddenly your screen freezes harder than a triple axle. If you're ready for a smoother routine, Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has a better idea. Max TV Stream. More streaming, less buffering. A performance that actually sticks the landing. And while you're at it, glide into fast SaskTel internet and cell phone packages that are balanced, reliable, and make sense for your household. Smart entertainment, smart connectivity. Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle. EchoSound.ca.
Weather for Next Gen Coatings. Spray coatings for truck bed liners, rocker panels, and more. Same company, new name. 1865 McCarra Street, Regina. And Kevin's Marine. Make the most of summer with a boat or pontoon from Kevin's Marine in Fort Qu'Appelle. kevinsmarine.com.
A clear and quiet night in store. Temperature dropping off to around 4 degrees. Gentle southerly breeze has been somewhat variable, but over the next 24 hours or so, mostly into the south, before turning around into the northeast ahead of our next storm system. But that's not going to impact the temperatures much. We're at 21 degrees through the day on Tuesday, holding at 8 Tuesday night, and then back up to around 20 on Wednesday. Winds mostly light. They'll pick up a little bit through the day, gusting each afternoon, but especially later Wednesday, they start to get a little bit stronger and start gusting 45 to 50 kilometers per hour into the evening. There's a storm system approaching that'll bring in some rain at first. Temperatures stay mild for much of Wednesday night. We bring in some rain, but through the day, temperatures fall and the rain changes over to snow. There could be some moderate accumulation of snow. From later Thursday through Thursday night, light snow continues on Friday. After falling to near zero during the day Thursday, the high only -2 on Friday. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
This is the year to own the boat of your dreams. At Kevin's Marine, discover legendary Lund boats, built for a lifetime of serious fishing and family fun. Stretch out and relax, or enjoy the day with family on a brand new pontoon from Bentley or Crest, or make a splash in a 4-wind sport boat, all powered by trusted Mercury 4-stroke motors. Right now, get manufacturer rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing. Make decking easy with Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Visit Kevin's Marine in Fort Capel or kevinsmarine.com.
For over 40 years, you've known them as Regina's trusted vehicle protection specialists. Now they're introducing the next gen of coatings. New name, new level of protection. They're now next gen coatings. 3 generations of their family have served your family, and that hasn't changed. Same owners, same commitment, ready for the next gen of truck beds, rocker panels, trailers, bumpers, and running boards. The company hasn't changed, just the name. Next Gen Coatings, 1865 McCarra Street. The next gen starts now.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Smoke'em Diesel in Regina. So you want to do it yourself? No problem. We sell injection pumps, injectors, and turbos to fit all your needs. Find us on Facebook today. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Welcome to the Monday installment of the Sports Cage. I'm your host, Tegan Whitco, joined by Dave Thomas, voice of your Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Colson Schultz on the controls, keeping us on the air, 620 CKRM, as well as the stream at sportscage.com, X, YouTube. You can always go back and rewatch any part of today's show, wherever you happen to get your podcasts as well. But I think we just need to jump right out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Western Pizza, perfect pizza, generous amount of toppings, and all the Greek favorites you love. Let's get to it.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Dutch Agriculture.
Well, there's our guy. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's a good day here in Saskatchewan. They announced their Plaza of Honor 2026 inductee class. So you know a thing or two about the Plaza of Honor. Curious what you think about this year's class. I mean, you got Dan Clark, Rob Begg, Paul McCallum. Pretty impressive list.
Star-studded list, man, I must say. Starting with Robbie and Dan, man, those are my guys, right? Came in 2006 with Robbie initially, and then he ended up going back to Queens. I think it was 2007. I'm sorry. He ended up going back to Queens. I thought he did enough that year to make the roster, but he wanted to go back and polish up a little bit, and then he came back in 2008, and he was just a beast out there, man. And the rest is history. When I think of Rob Bagg, I think of hard work. I think of persistence. I think of consistency. I mean, any of those positive terms that you want to describe as a guy that puts his all into something, that's Rob Bagg. So I'm so happy for him. And then Dan Clark, my second center behind Jeremy O'Day. I mean, who would have thought Dan would have turned into what he did? He was an underdog coming in, coming from a small program right there with the with the junior team in Regina. I'm sorry, I can't think of the name right now.
Thunder.
But Yep, the Thunder. I'm sorry. I was going to say the Pats, but I was like, no, that's hockey. I don't want to be wrong, right? Right. But Dan coming in from the Thunder. I mean, a lot of guys don't make it from there and being a part of the Riders. So him being a Saskatchewan boy and being a part of the growth of the Riders and being there every step of the way. eventually turning into a Grey Cup champion and starting for years and years and years. You just don't hear of stories like that. So I'm so proud of Dan and what he's accomplished. And, it's just a huge deal for him. And then Paul, I mean, I wasn't around, but I heard some of the stories of what happened early on in his career with the Riders. And but he's just one of the greats, man. Went on to BC and became one of the greatest in CFL history, and then returned in 2015. I was hurt that year, but got a chance to be around him a little bit. So I'm just happy for those guys. That's definitely a star-studded list, and I'll definitely be in town for that. I won't miss it for the world seeing Dan and Robbie and Paul get in. So I'm excited about that.
One of the defining moments for me with Rob Baggs' career was in 2012, right? Wrecked his knee. And then in 2013, he came back. And I can't remember which game it was, but long ball, long pass, and he goes down, grabs the knee right away. And I don't know if you remember this. He went back into the dressing room, and then he came jogging back out. And the atmosphere in the stadium, I've never felt anything like that before.
Just crazy. I mean, look, the guy tore his ACL, right? And that just shows you his toughness for him to just be able to come back in the game. Most guys, they're getting carted off the field, right? I mean, you're not walking, let alone coming out there running around. And I mean, that just shows just his toughness. And then for him, I think he tore both knees, matter of fact, at some point in his career. And he came back bigger, stronger, faster in both instances. So you don't see that a lot. And he's just a warrior, man. And I love that guy to death. He's a warrior, true warrior.
Well, the other guy, of course, your guy, Chris Getzlaf, inducted into the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame, or will be. He was named as a member of the class of 2026. What does that speak to his athleticism, his talent? Because, boy, he just, to me, was always the complete package when I saw him.
Absolutely, man. Getty knows, and anybody that played with Getty will tell you he works just as hard as anyone else. And I know I brag on Robbie about his work ethic, but Getty's right there, and he's a special guy. And what I like to say about Getty is he runs on the football field like he's skating on the ice, right? So it's just unpredictable what he's going to do, when he's going to break. His game was just a little unorthodox, but it worked, right? And he was just the best at it. So congrats to Getty for that. He's definitely one of the greats to come out of Saskatchewan, and it's a well-deserved induction for him.
And if we can just go back real quick to another Sasky boy, Dan Clark. We had him on the show earlier today, and we wanted to remind him of a very specific touchdown pass from you to him, 8 yards in the end zone. Do you remember this moment?
Absolutely. And this is the celebration that I remember more than anything, with both arms going in the air like that, man. But that was kind of his welcoming to the CFL, getting on the stage. For that to happen in front of the home crowd was just special. And after that, he went on to become one of the great centers in Saskatchewan Roughrider history. So I definitely remember that play, and every time we get together, we talk about it. So it's just a special moment for Dan.
So Dan Clark says, George Cortez comes up to him and says, "Hey, we'd like you to be our tight end." And he's like, "Yes, sure, Mr. Cortez, I'm going to absolutely do it." So the play call comes, you're going to throw to the big man. Did you have complete confidence, in all honesty?
100%. I mean, we repped that thing in practice, right? So I don't think Coach Cortez would have called anything that we didn't rep and made sure that Dan caught it. And it's something that we would work on after practice as well. And we knew that when that play was called, because every time we would come in with an extra old lineman as a tight end, we would usually run the ball. So it was just a perfect setup. And, who better for it to happen than for Dan, especially in a home game. So definitely a moment.
So there is some changes here in Saskatchewan, of course, when it comes to the kicking position as well. So Brett Lauther off to Ottawa. And I know that you know Brett well. And I'm just kind of curious how difficult that can be when you see a change, right? Because Brett was in Saskatchewan for a very long period of time. So filling those shoes, so to speak, what does that look like inside the locker room?
Well, it's going to be tough, man. I think that more than anything, he was a great locker room guy. He was a community guy. He's done so much, going around the province and getting engaged with the kids, the fans, everyone that's a Rider fan. So that's going to be hard to replace. And then he's a leader in the locker room. So it's definitely going to be something that's is going to be a big change for some of the guys, some of the veteran guys. But it's also for Brett. It can be a new beginning for him, right? It's an opportunity. You kind of feel like you were let go or the team didn't want you anymore, right? So you now have the chance to go out and not only prove to yourself that you still have it, but to prove to the Riders that they let you go at a bad time. So it's definitely an exciting moment for him. I remember going through that, and I just hope that he can just let all the ghost or whatever that has been haunting him a little bit, let all that go, focus on a new beginning, and try to work his way into a leadership role with this new team, and just show everyone in Ottawa that he deserves to be there. He deserves to be the guy that the team can lean on if they need him in the waning seconds of a game, and just enjoy a new start, because sometimes you need that, right? I mean, when you're in a new place, when you're somewhere for such a long time, you can get a fresh start, a new city, new team, new organization, and it definitely can benefit you.
The key word I think you used there is work. And Brett, who we're going to hear from in just a few minutes, talked about the work that he's putting in the offseason, but he also talked about the camaraderie, and we've heard that as kind of a team thing all day today, whether it's Chris Getzlaf or Paul McCallum or Dan Clark or Rob Bagg, talking about the family, and that led to success. Now, every football team says, yeah, we're a family, but not every team has success. So what gives you that family atmosphere to elevate you to the next level?
Well, I think in Saskatchewan, it's just a unique place, right? It's a small town, and there's not a lot of things to do outside of football. So you have no choice but to get close and do things with your teammates off the field. And that's what brings that brotherhood together. And I think that that's what makes Saskatchewan such a special place. Everyone goes out there, and you're not fighting just for a guy beside you, right? You're fighting for a good friend of yours, someone you've gotten to know over time. And it's special. So it's when you hear all the guys talk about it, it's definitely the truth, man. It's something that you build in each and every week. We have camping trips. You go out, go-kart racing, paintballing. There's so many activities that you do with your teammates in Saskatchewan that gives you that bond, that brotherhood that transfers over to the field. And that's what makes it special. So all the guys that spoke on it, and I think you'll hear this going into the future from more guys. And, with this past year's Grey Cup team, I think as the years go on and guys look back at what they built there in Saskatchewan, they're going to say the same thing.
So you played high-level college, Darian. You played in the NFL. You played in the CFL. And like I say, everybody says that we've got the family atmosphere. Are other programs just kidding themselves, thinking that they've got what the Riders have?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, other teams are close, don't get me wrong, but when you're in these big cities and there's just so much to do, and guys go their separate ways after practice, I mean, of course you feel like you're building this brotherhood or this bond, but there's nothing like being in Saskatchewan, right? It's just nothing like it. So I mean, I guess guys are speaking on what they know as a family atmosphere, but when you get to Saskatchewan or these smaller town, I'm sure you'll hear the Green Bay Packers say the same thing. I mean, when you get into these smaller towns and the fans you see the fans everywhere you go, the entire province loves the team, then, you really get to experience it in these type of places. So, it's just nothing that compares. Sometimes I get lost for words because it's kind of hard to explain. And then I had the opportunity of going to Montreal and talking to other guys from different teams and different places who have played with me in Saskatchewan as well. They'll say the same thing.
What is going into the Plaza of Honor like? Because Dan Clark said, you know what? I didn't think I even deserved it. There's so many guys that are ahead of me. Was there a moment of realization, whether it was you were at the podium, whether it was days after? When does that kind of hit?
I think it hits when you get that call from Craig Reynolds. When he calls you and he kind of reflects on your career a little bit, and then he breaks down the reasons why you're getting in. I think it hits you then, right? I mean, of course, you think your peers may tell you that you're going to get in, or the fans, you may hear some rumblings on social media or something that you may get in, but until you get that call And until, you're really hearing it from the leader of the organization, that's when it hits you, because you just never know. Like Dan said, there are so many guys that we may feel like deserve to get in, but they still haven't gotten in yet. And, you just never know. So it's definitely a surreal feeling. And for me, it was definitely when Craig gave me that call and, I found out I was going in with Roy, then, it made it even more special.
So I am curious, as we have, the NFL draft coming up, CFL draft, training camp, we're going to be playing football games here before we know it. And there was an announcement from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers saying that Taylor Elgersma, after, shooting his shot in the NFL, UFL, I know there's some work visa issues and everything like that, but now he's in Winnipeg with the team, might get a look at him in that preseason game up in Saskatoon. What does it say about him that he trusted himself to take that gamble and wait kind of until the last minute to get back up to Canada?
I mean, sometimes you have to bet on yourself. I mean, you never know what you can accomplish until you really go out there and you try it. And, for him, you have to exhaust every opportunity, right? You want to get in front of, and there's nothing wrong. Winnipeg has a great fan base as well, but there's nothing like playing in the United States. There's nothing like getting in front of these fans and, trying to make it at the NFL level. And if not, you want to play some more to kind of get into the eyes of NFL scouts. I mean, you have to exhaust every opportunity. So I think if you kind of, and I don't want to say people can fall back on the CFL, but if you have a plan B, so to speak, then you definitely want to exhaust every option you have with your plan A. And I think that's the way he approached it.
When you're a young player, I don't know if detrimental is the right word. I apologize for using that word, but is it a setback in any way that you've sat out essentially a year and haven't played, haven't worked out, haven't been practicing with a team?
Could be. I mean, I've seen it go both ways. I've seen guys that want to go down south and give it a shot, and then they get a little rusty because they don't get a lot of reps, or, they're not practicing, or you're just working out and not able to get game action. And then you see guys who go down there and they excel, or, it's the complete opposite for them. So it's basically, in my opinion, it's a 50-50 chance, and you have to take that chance if you want to play at the highest level. And, you never know, man. Football is such a funny game where a year off and that rust could definitely, it could weigh on you, and you may not be able to break that rust off in some instances. And I've definitely seen that from some guys. So, like I said, it's with the amount of money you can make down south, you definitely have to take that opportunity. And you just hope and pray that all the hard work you put in, the training, your off-season workouts, all of that other stuff, you hope that you don't have the rust, and when you get back on the field, you're good to go.
This is one of very few commonalities that Darian Durant and I will have. Neither of us have had Taylor Elgersma over to our houses for coffee in the morning. Neither of us. I'm quite confident in that. But
absolutely,
I qualify that because neither of us really know him. But having played and grown up with a Canadian game, does that give him a leg up going into training camp with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, given that Chris Streveler has announced his retirement and they've got some younger quarterbacks that haven't had a ton of experience with the Canadian game?
Definitely. I mean, look, I think that, the 4 and 5 receiver sets that I ran in high school kind of prepared me for what was to come in the CFL. So for him growing up, playing the game, it'll be just like old times, really. It definitely doesn't leave you. It's what you've learned initially, so you understand the game. Now it's just all about going out there and getting the reps. And, you're in a good situation. I mean, Zach has been banged up the past couple years, and, you never know. And then this preseason, he probably won't play a lot. So definitely be some opportunities there.
Well, and Zach's only got, a year left on his contract? So they're going to be looking for the future of the franchise.
For sure.
One other quarterback question here, of course, because now that we have you, we get to ask all the QB questions heading into training camp. Chad Kelly. He is likely going to be back in the mix this year for Toronto. You mentioned it when we were talking about Elgersma and that rust, the potential of rust, taking off a full season. How do you see his return potentially unfolding?
Well, we'll see. I guess that's all I can say. We'll see, man. He had a devastating leg injury. Who knows if he'll have some of the mobility that he had previous to the injury. And, as far as his arm goes, though, he has a gun, man. And he has stronger arms in the league. And I don't think that'll go anywhere. It's all about timing. It's all about getting in there and getting the reps and practicing with the guys and getting on the same page. And I think he can do that. I mean, he's a hard worker and he's already had some experience. So I think he'll now tone it down a little bit, make sure that he's taking care of himself a little bit better. And I think with the reps, he can knock some of that rust off. Quarterback's a little bit different than some of these other positions. So I really think that he can get out there as long as he's getting the reps. In Winnipeg, it'll be a little bit more difficult to get the reps with Zach being the starter, but in Toronto, Chad should get the reps from day one, so he should be in a position where he can knock some of that rust off early.
You do have a little bit of experience with that, though, when you came back from your Achilles injury. How did you battle back? The one thing I remember was there was the rumor that went around that, oh no, Darian's not coming back, and then a day later on social media, there you are, throwing the ball, fully mobile. I'm like, okay, welcome to the world we live in.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tough. For me, I was, already 11 years in, so it was kind of difficult, especially with an Achilles injury. We all know that the later on in your career that happens, then it's a higher probability that you'll never be the same. So it's a little bit different for Chad and these other guys. They're young men, right? And then technology is a lot different than it was 10, 11 years ago. So I think it's a situation where doctors know more, they understand more, and these guys, they have a lot more money at their disposal now. So they can fly in, they can bring the receivers in, you can have off-season camps. There's just so much you can do now, with social media and the type of money that they're making to bring everyone together and get these reps in, and it makes it a lot easier to bounce back from injury.
I thought Darian was going to tell us that Ivan used duct tape at first, but I feel better.
I mean, you could kind of say that. No, I'm just joking. But look, technology is a lot different now. The machines. You go inside of Mosaic Stadium, you have your hot tubs, your cold tubs, you have underwater treadmills. I'm sorry. It's just so much that these guys have that can bring them back. And with me, it's just going out there, just getting a massage from Ivan, doing some calf raises and different things like that, and then it's get back out there. So it's a lot different.
NFL draft starts Thursday. How closely are you paying attention? Any ideas on what's going to happen?
I'm paying close attention. I'm anxious to see what my Cowboys do early on in the draft. Hopefully we can,
Did you see we signed our kicker today? Our kicker to a record deal. That was what was wrong.
I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. I would kind of rank George Pickens a little bit higher than that as far as priorities, right? But, I'm anxious to see what they do. And, this is one of the better drafts, I think, for defenders in a long time. So it's a lot of defensive guys that are really, really good players that could go early. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Yeah, NFL draft this week, CFL draft next week, and we're going to be watching football before we know it, Darian. Appreciate the time, as always.
Absolutely. Can't wait, man. This is the best time of the year, so I'm looking forward to it.
Let's go. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much, Darian.
Sounds good.
Of course, joining us on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline every Monday. And I just want to remind you because we're running out of time. We only have about a week left on this. If you would like to win a putting green courtesy of Classic Landscaping Company, customized, tailored, fitting in your backyard, all you have to do is text us a singular word and you're in the draw. You can do this every single day, only one entry per day. So text us right now, 306-936-6262. I need you to send in the word PAR. So that's P-A-R. Text it into us. Thank you, Colson, emphasizing my point. I love that. You'll get a bounce back and you'll be in. It's just that easy. I believe next Monday is the final day that we'll have a keyword for you to text in, and then one lucky Sportscage listener is going to win a putting green.
Do you hear that?
What?
That's Luke Mullender swearing in his car, knowing that the Cowboys made Brandon Aubrey the highest paid kicker in NFL history at $7 million a year. Luke's going to lose it.
Those 70-yard field goals aren't going to kick themselves.
I guess some of your offense can only get it. Yeah.
You need a kicker.
$7 million.
I'm still just a little bit surprised that between you, Darian, and Luke, you all cheer for the Cowboys.
I know.
And you guys have way more football intelligence than that.
And you know what? Well, they do. I don't. But I can just hear, if I was going to quote Luke Mullender right now, what he would say in reaction to that, it would be...
If he's in his car, I would not want to be that steering wheel. Oh, man.
He would say, he's a kicker. That is what he would say. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
100%.
Probably.
You're a kicker. Anyways.
Yeah. With that being said, we should probably take a quick break because we have an exclusive conversation between our very own Dave Thomas and Brett Lauther ahead of his move to Ottawa as the new place kicker for the REDBLACKS. So that exclusive conversation coming up here in just a couple of minutes. It's a Sportscage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
The world-famous Kenaston Super Draft is back for the 2026 NHL playoffs with 3 ways to win $80,000. Will an 8 seed actually take down a 1? Will a Canadian team go full beast mode and make a run? Do those coaching changes mean genius or total bench minor energy? Stack your roster, trust your gut, and maybe look like a hockey genius in front of your friends. Forms are online at superdraft.com. Don't forget about the Super 8 for another shot at $10,000. Deadline is today, 6 p.m. Don't miss it, or you'll be riding the pine, bud.
Spring's finally here.
Spring in Regina? I'll believe it when I'm sitting on a patio.
Then let's get to Pump Jacks. Patio's open.
Open now?
Yep, Sunday brunch, daily food, and drink specials.
Hold on, brunch and a patio?
And weekly live entertainment.
All right, that's not spring, that's a lifestyle.
On the corner of Albert and 13th, Pump Jack's Cathedral Saloon and Steakhouse. Come early, stay late. The place where friends meet.
You cut the grass, we'll cut the deal at Brant Agriculture. Get 0% financing for 84 months. Plus cash rebates and bonuses on select John Deere turf equipment. Save on compact utility tractors, riding lawnmowers, and utility vehicles. Get it from people who get it. Offer ends April 30th, 2026. Some restrictions may apply. See dealer for details.
You know that Extreme Hockey and Sport has everything you need for hockey, but spring is just around the corner. They're thinking baseball. Be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products all in stock. And let's not forget about lacrosse. Don't let spring throw you a curveball. Be ready with Extreme Hockey and Sport, locally owned, community focused, 1425 McIntyre Street at the Cooperator Center, now in Moose Jaw, and online at extremehockey.net.
Sportscage is live streaming from our Century Studios in downtown Regina. Watch now at sportscage.com and our YouTube channel. Be part of the show by texting 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
So pleased to be joined on the Western Pizza guest hotline, Ottawa REDBLACKS kicker Brett Lauther joins us. And Brett, first and foremost, congratulations on the contract. It must be exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. As weird as that sounded hearing that, we're super excited, for something new, and looking forward to the future and getting over there.
So what has this process been like for you? I have had conversations with you in the past talking about how intensive your off-field work is during the off-season. What's it been like?
It's definitely been a very different off-season. Spoke a lot about this stuff before with the back and other injuries, and then getting released, and obviously the transition of not just making decisions on my own anymore with the family. So kind of took some time away, wanted to go over everything, and kind of had a good opportunity come up, and still want to get back out there and make the most of it, but it's definitely been a very different off-season than the past 8.
One thing that I don't think, Brett Lauther, that is ever going to change is how beloved you are in Rider Nation. Is, again, our phone lines, our text lines all blew up just wanting to wish you well. What does that mean, having that support from Rider Nation?
I mean, it means everything. These people here, I'm forever thankful for. I'm definitely consider myself a rider for life, and my wife and we lived here in the off seasons and so many different communities and school visits and teachers and kids over the years, and so many people reaching out, and that's what makes playing for the Riders, the best place to play in Canada, and the fans and the support and everything over the years, and to kind of finish it off with a Grey Cup, and then hearing from everyone, just even this past weekend out at the Bethune Sports Gala, and been going to going to that for years. And it's awesome seeing everyone kind of before you take off, but even if we are going to play somewhere else and moving on, we're definitely still going to come back and see lots of friends and family and stuff like that in the off season as well.
I know how proud you are to be Nova Scotian, and heck, you and Arash Madani, you guys could probably have a conversation over a few suppers if you wanted to talk about how much you love Nova Scotia. But would it be accurate to say that you kind of grew up a little bit here in Saskatchewan?
Yeah, I think for sure. If they want to say I'm adopted son, I would take it, but I don't think you can say that yourself. But, I met some of my best friends for life here. The organization's been top-notch. People here that I'll consider family for life. And, met my wife out here, had her daughter here. A lot of growing up here. And it was the best times ever. So, yeah, that's all I have is really good memories and nothing but good things to say about the whole organization, the fans, and my time here. It's a little surreal to look back on how long I've been playing and to finish it with a Grey Cup and stuff. Yeah, it's been kind of the best ride ever for me.
Can you talk about your off season again? You and the way, just when the conversations that you've afforded me, when I get a chance to pick your brain about how you approach off seasons, the video work that you do, and the tinkering. And I hate to say the word tinkering because it sounds like we're playing golf, but the adjustments that you make in the off season to your game. What does that look like, and what did it look like this year?
Yeah, I actually made a pretty significant one this year compared to probably most. Just trying to change up a little bit to, be a little more accurate the upcoming season, but not lose power. And one of the things I've done the whole time since I've been out here was the jab step before I kick, and did it my whole time as a rider and stuff. And I kind of took that out, and it took a while in the off season, especially once I was cleared to start getting the kick and stuff. And so it's a little bit different with the steps and everything. It's probably something that's pretty minor from the, naked eye, but, just this year especially, it's probably been a lot less kind of on field and in the gym work in the total, but the last couple of months have just been full steam ahead, feeling really good, and kind of back to normal, and really excited to have another opportunity to even play. But yeah, there's been a ton of stuff, even getting set up in Ottawa with the video and other things like that in the last couple of weeks of prep, with so much going on family-wise and in life. But yeah, really looking forward to, seeing how this works out this year with a couple new things that I worked on.
This will be the third consecutive year that you've had a different holder. Is that a big deal, or how do you make sure that you get what you need from the hold when you're kicking?
Yeah, it's definitely, I think more important than a lot of people realize, and almost just the relationship. The trust part is the main thing. Obviously was fully aware and prepared that, you're not going to have Jorgen out there anymore. Had a couple holders last year. I think I've had 5 or 6 over the course of the last 6 or 7 seasons as well. And change is always inevitable in the CFL, and it's just one of those things you kind of have to adapt and overcome no matter what's going on. And I'm in no position to be nitpicking about holding or snapping or anything. It's just more concentrating on what I can do. But the quicker we can get over there and get on the same page, I think anyone would say it definitely helps early in the season when you have a lot of trust in the guys that are doing a lot of work for you out there too.
Okay, I hope I'm not bringing up PTSD, but you and I had a conversation in Calgary last year, and I asked you to relive a moment in the season, and you could describe it 1,000 times better than I do. And that was the first attempt of last season when you ended up having to punt the ball when Joe Couch went and pitched it to you. Can you explain that play in your own words for everyone?
Yeah, it was a bit of a crazy play, just with how it worked out. Definitely not trying to steward Joe or anything, but when he just had the ball go down, it didn't happen all camp or anything like that, but it kind of slid and moved off and kind of fell off the tee there, and you don't have a chance really anywhere when that happens, and let alone the first one of the year. I think it was like 53, 52 yards. And at first, like, you know, you want to get the season going well, hit kind of a deeper kick early on, get it going at home, kind of maybe get the crowd into it. And then to have that happen, I'm not sure really how I even stopped my leg at the time, because you're so focused on just swinging and getting through. And then he kind of popped up and bopped out, and I like seeing him getting tackled and going down, so I almost turned to grab the tee because I thought the play was kind of done, and just a little like disappointed didn't get to kick it in the first place. And then kind of the ball was coming, landed at my feet, picked it up, and I wanted to roll out right to potentially run it, but then Amari Henderson, who was a former rider, I seen him in my face, and I know I'm definitely not faster than any of those other guys on the field, even though it can still maybe move a little bit, and then just tried to cut back, and at that point didn't see much daylight, and rolling to the left as a right-footed kicker. Just tried my best to hit something out there. Didn't go very far, but was surprised could turn it over too. So bit of a weird situation in play for sure, especially starting off the season, but I'd start the season the same if it was going to have the same outcome again too. So
Absolutely. Brett Lauther, the real reason we brought you on, though, is I want to talk hockey with you. NHL playoffs are underway. If you filled out your bracket, what do you see?
Yeah, I definitely fill one out. Try to do that every year. Unfortunately, this is the first year I didn't get in the Water Buffalo and the Calcutta out in Bethune. I've been in that every year for a while, so I didn't get to do the draft or pick a team or hop in with those guys this year. But, you know, big Habs fan, so probably worst case scenario was getting Tampa first round at anyone in the East, in my opinion. But huge game from Slavkovsky last night and getting the win in overtime, kind of getting home ice, you know, still not convinced it's their time yet, but would love to see them go on a run. And in the East, definitely pulling for Pittsburgh a little more with Crosby and them and him back in, and who knows how many he has left. And, you know, they're going to have to turn it around today, especially how game one went versus Philly. And then, you know, I think Carolina's going to handle Ottawa, even though Ottawa was on such a good run down the stretch and stuff. They're just too solid. It's almost just like written in stone that they're going to get to the East final and then see what happens. And in the West, I think it's not saying too much that Colorado's probably going to get through LA pretty handily. I think Edmonton will handle the Ducks, but the Ducks have been a lot of fun to watch. Super exciting young team. Leo Carlson and Cutter Gauthier and those guys, I think they're, you know, a team of the future in the West for sure, along with San Jose, which is crazy what Celebrini's doing. And then, yeah, the Vegas game was pretty crazy last night, so was the Buffalo game. So I think Buffalo takes that. Vegas, Utah, I feel like that one's probably going to go 6 or 7 and stick with Vegas. And then I can't even think if I missed a series or two there, but tried to give a pretty good breakdown on the spot of what I've watched the last few days. So
you did very, very well. Now, I know this is a loaded question, but if I said to you, who deserves to win the Stanley Cup more? Would you go Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, or Martin St. Louis?
Oh, man.
I know.
Deserves is such a tough word, because I feel like definitely the winning the Stanley Cup, at least in my opinion, is the hardest trophy, and what those guys go through. And, you know, I think every other guy on there has cups besides Connor, and not that I'm a huge Oil fan or anything, but it's pretty tough to lose in the final once and even get there, and let alone have it happen again. And you're the best player in the world, and it hasn't really been close for a while. So, you know, big Canadians fan, want them to win. Like, I don't know if the word deserves or not applies, but same with the other guys. Like, Colorado's the best team in the league, and I wouldn't say they deserve it. And Nathan has one, and then Sid's got 3 already, and everything under his resume. You know, I want to see him go on another run, but I guess just to answer the question, maybe McDavid and the Oil, I'd say. Be pretty good for Canada and hockey, but I'm also pulling for the Habs all the way for sure.
Okay, last hockey question for you. I can connect you with one NHL player. Who do you want to sit down, have dinner with, or skate with on your rec team?
Yeah, that's another tough one. I guess there's a lot of guys that would help out the rec teams. That's for sure. I don't know. I think just someone that's like older, around your age, and someone maybe looked up to a little bit more. And it's not like a super good or thought out answer, but I'd have to go with Crosby. I think it would just be sweet to share the ice and get out with him, and I've been pretty lucky actually at the Rider Foundation game to get on with a lot of great players. And then even next year, I think as a teaser, well, you know, maybe I'm saying too much saying that like we're probably going to keep it going or not, but I think there could be a pretty big name coming next year too. So Crosby would be pretty awesome to have on the rec team. I don't think we're going to lose with him as the first or second line center.
I'd let you tell him that he's playing second line, just so you know.
I feel like that's just the type of guy he is if he came to your team, he wouldn't go out first shift. He would just start on the bench. So that's why I said it.
Very true. Very true. Well, Brett, the province of Saskatchewan thanks you for not only what you did on the field, but maybe more importantly for what you did off the field. I know that I feel that appreciation as well for what you've done for especially youth in our province. Before we let you go, if there's a message you want to send to Rider Nation, feel free.
No, the pleasure was all mine. No one owes me anything here. It's been the opposite. I feel like such a debt to the province and the people and how great everyone has been and was, and hopefully even in the future, you know, like I said, we're still planning to get over here a lot in the winters and won't be too far away. And yeah, it was like the best round of my life. It still feels like a dream sometimes when I think about it. So just a big thanks to everyone. I do appreciate it. And I was joking with a few people before, but I know everyone's going to be super kind when we come back in town and get out on the field. You know, there'll be no booing for me or anything like that. It'll be super, super nice messages in the crowd from everyone. But no, I was, it's been the best. It's been a ton of fun, and I'm looking forward to coming back and playing here, even as a road or way kicker. That would be a cool experience too.
Brett, we've got our calendars circled. We can't wait to see you in the nation's capital early in June. And maybe we'll catch up after the Habs are in round 2.
Yeah, let's hope. But yeah, just let me know anytime. I'm always down to get on here and talk hockey for sure.
Brett Lauther, newly signed by the Ottawa REDBLACKS, joining us. This is the Sportscage. We're streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Bill just called. He said the Thompsons are going already.
Really? Here I am. I'm still deciding if I should replace my openers.
Morning, gentlemen. Looking for Dave. I've got your new openers.
He brought Andrew. Time to listen.
Follow me to the farm. I'll show you how to install them so your field's ready before anyone else.
Don't wait to fall behind. Check your openers and get expert help from Andrew or your local Dutch dealer. Dutch Agriculture. Precision where it counts. Visit DutchOpeners.com. Dutch Agriculture on farm for you.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From power tools to skid steers, they probably have what you need for your job. 600 Albert Street, where you deal with the owner. It's time for the Sports Ticker. Brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
We're doing ticker here.
Ticker.
Yep. I knew that. Let me see so I stay on track here. Saskatchewan Roughriders announced their class of 2026 being inducted into the Plaza of Honor. We're going to hear from a couple of these players, former players, in a sec here. So Begg, Clark, McCallum, all to be inducted in the Plaza of Honor. You can listen to our full conversation with Dan Clark from earlier in the show. Just go to wherever you find your podcasts. TELUS Cup U18 AAA Championship. I'm going to refresh my page so I'm not lying to you. The Regina Pats Seas are up 3-0 over the Peterborough Petes, and that is in the first period still.
Yes.
So lots of hockey left to play there. NHL playoffs, Minnesota Wild in Dallas to face the Stars in Game 2. Anaheim Ducks and Oilers Game 1 goes down tonight, 8 p.m. Ottawa Senators and Carolina Hurricanes. And then you also have the Battle of Pennsylvania.
Oh, you said that well. Way to go.
I had to make it dramatic, okay?
That.
Yeah, Flyers, Penguins. That game is, already an hour deep. Never mind. NBA, we got the Raptors and the Cavs. Game 2 is underway right now in the NBA playoffs. And Major League Baseball, Toronto Blue Jays in LA to face the Angels, the first of a 3-game set. And if you missed it, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers did announce that they have signed Adam Bighill to a one-day contract so he can retire as a member of the team. Also, our Sportscage.com poll right now, who deserves to win the Stanley Cup this year? We're talking players, so let us know what you think. McDavid is still in the running for that, so vote at sportscage.com. And as I mentioned briefly, we had that discussion with Dan Clark earlier today. He was right off the start of the show because, very deservingly so, he will be inducted into the Plaza of Honor. Now, there are also a couple of other individuals that are being inducted this year. You notice how Darian, by the way, said that he was going to come down for that game? So I don't know if you made a little note, but I sure did.
I did as well.
Okay, good. So Rob Begg knows Darian Durant quite well. And Rob Begg had a chance to address the media to talk about his induction and really his initial reaction to it.
It's just been an incredibly humbling experience to find out this news, finding out that it was Clarkie and Paul. I mean, it just makes it all that much better. Obviously, Danny and I went to war many, many times together, and he's kind of, as O-linemen, right? They're kind of big brothers in some senses on that offensive side of the ball. And he was just a guy that I know I would go to war with him tomorrow if he told me he had one more in him. He's a lifelong friend, and ultimately that's, as I've thought back on my time in Saskatchewan, I like to think that I gave everything I possibly could to the club, but the more and more time I have away from the game, the more time I have to reflect. What the province and the community and the organization gave me, I'm not sure it was quite honestly a balanced trade. It was just such an incredible experience down there, and playing against Paul and watching his career over the years, to go in with these two guys is quite the honor.
2026 Plaza of Honor inductee. Oh, that's going to be such a fun class to watch get inducted.
It will, and the teammates are coming back from 2013 to usher them in. You better believe. Right?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be
a weekend.
A party.
A weekend.
It's going to be a good time. But one other individual being inducted who we haven't heard from yet today, Paul McCallum, also addressed the media.
Time flies by so fast, and when things like this come upon me, I kind of start to reminisce and think about all the things that sort of happened in my career and with the Riders, and it's just an amazing journey that I've been on, and I'm just really happy to get to share it with these guys.
Wow. Dan Clark, Begg, McCallum, 2026 inductees. That's going to be really cool. So I appreciate all of them taking the time to address the media today so we could hear what they had to say.
Yeah, and a quick note on Paul McCallum, right? So Paul said that he would have stayed in Saskatchewan if it weren't for the one person that didn't want him to. He doesn't hold any ill will against the province or anything like that. He wishes he could have remained in Saskatchewan for his entire career, but very, very cool. And again, another guy in Paul McCallum that Roy Shivers brought to Saskatchewan.
What is something else that all three of them have in common in terms of their playing career with the Roughriders? Not that they played for the Riders, not that they're getting inducted now. There's one other thing that they all have in common.
They're Canadian?
And that is true. Not the one I'm looking for. Not the one I'm looking for.
Wow.
That is true.
Okay. Canadian, all being inducted.
All won a Grey Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a hint?
I don't think
it's probably something really obscure.
It's not. It's directly related to their playing career and getting to the CFL.
All played junior football.
Did they? I don't know that for a fact.
Oh.
I don't know if Rob did because he played for Queens, but Paul McCallum played for the Surrey Rams.
Well, if that is correct, that's not the one I'm looking for.
Okay, sorry, I'm wrong. Okay, got it. Fine, rub it in, why don't you? I'm wrong.
Not one of them was drafted.
Really?
No, there you go.
Yeah. None of them were drafted.
Yep. As it says on the Riderville.com.
Feels like a very timely mention of that, considering the draft is next week. I like it.
Yeah.
We got to go. We're actually going to run overtime a little bit here, but I did just want to update people that riveting Battle of Pennsylvania. Scoreless, end of the first. And there's like, what? Shots are what, 5-2?
Yep.
Great.
That was way better than the total eclipse of the heart. I'll have you know right now.
No, we're not doing that again. Okay, we got to go. On behalf of myself, Dave Thomas, Colson Schultz, good night, and thank you for taking the time to hang out with us here on the corner of 12th and Rose. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM and streaming at sportscage.com.
It was 62 years ago, April 22, 1964. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated months earlier. The Beatles arrived in North America, and Saskatchewan got a new premier and new government after years of socialist rule. I'm John Cairns, and this is 100 years of CKRM. Going into that 1964 provincial election, Ross Satcher built up his Saskatchewan Liberal Party to be a real threat to the CCF government, the CCF leading Canada's first socialist government for 20 years. During that final term, the party presided over the controversial introduction of Medicare. But former Premier Tommy Douglas was long gone, having taken over the leadership of the federal NDP. The new Premier, Woodrow Lloyd, was unable to keep the CCF dynasty going. When the votes were tallied, the Liberals got 32 seats, the CCF 26, and the Progressive Conservatives 1 seat. Ross Satcher would be Premier of Saskatchewan for the next 7 years, leading the province during the potash boom years of the 1960s. But after